Okay, meteorologist Maggie McCauley joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk, starting us off here on a Monday. Maggie, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, now let's take a look at our high five camera here in Midtown Memphis. You can see some higher clouds, lower clouds, and some sunshine there, blanketing much of Midtown Memphis as we take a look now. 7:05 as you're getting up on this Monday, 72 degrees. And we'll be talking more about the forecast here on Action News 5's digital desk. I want to tell you a little bit about our schedule for the Action News 5 digital desk right now. First off, we're going to be talking at 8 o'clock about Men's Health Month. This is something that often gets ignored. Well, we're going to be talking about ways that guys can get healthier this summer and certainly this month. You know, oftentimes many guys out there, and myself included, sometimes when we are sick, we just ignore going to the doctor. We just ignore it until we're on, you know, we can't move. And so the idea now is to train and to look at your health as something that's proactive and something that will keep you away from any kind of health ailments proactively. So now's the time that we're going to start looking at ways to build a healthier lifestyle, build up strength, and get away from this dad bod that used to be all the rage. Now it's a focus more on longevity, performance, and being healthy for yourself, and in turn, being healthy for your family too. So we're checking in with a fitness trainer who's going to help us not only train and talk about lean muscle, how to build that, but also boost your metabolism and in turn boost your mental health and strengthen bones and improve posture. So that's coming up on the Action News 5 digital desk. That'll be at 8 o'clock, about less than an hour from now. We're also going to be talking with our friend Shelby Smith. She is the Senior Manager of Marketing and Communications at Overton Park Shell. The Overton Park Shell's summer concert series is coming to a close. There's only a couple weeks left where you can check out live concerts for free at the Overton Park Shell, and so we're going to be talking about that with her. We also may have some other guests on the Action News 5 digital desk. We'll keep you updated on that, certainly. But right now, I want to once again go to our high five camera here in Midtown Memphis as we go to break here. 72 degrees, 7:07. More Action News 5's digital desk in 1 minute. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. Have you ever heard of Barth syndrome? B-A-R-T-H. It is a rare inherited metabolic disorder. It primarily affects boys and men. Only a few hundred people in the world have this syndrome, but certainly people do here in Memphis and the Mid-South. I'm joined right now on the Action News 5 digital desk by Shelley Bowen. She is part of the Barth Syndrome Foundation, and she is here to talk a little bit more about this syndrome, this disorder that affects just a few hundred people worldwide, but I know for a fact that there are some people here in the Mid-South that have it. So, Shelley, thanks so much for joining us on the digital desk. Tell me more about this disorder, this syndrome, and its origins. Good morning.
Good morning. Barth syndrome is an ultra rare condition. It affects fewer than 150 individuals in the United States. It predominantly affects males.
I was preparing myself.
It's 1 in 1 million.
My family
is 1 in 1 million males. So it's very rare. We know of fewer than 500 worldwide. It's often fatal early in life, but it is a progressive and debilitating condition. And it causes heart failure, cardiomyopathy. Many of the individuals who have Barth syndrome require a heart transplant, which is yet another condition in addition to Barth syndrome. But debilitating fatigue is something that we see. So it is progressive. People don't just outgrow it. They get worse over time.
Yeah,
And my two daughters,
I'm trying to
ages 5 and 1,
mess a little
to
bit
lose
with our,
Jalen before he even had a
audio
real chance
levels
at
here,
life.
but you sent me
Jalen was
this,
transported to
and
Children's Nebraska.
this was
They told me
a
things were not
video
looking good for my.
of some of the different things of people mentioning that they have Barth syndrome. What is the biggest? I guess what is the biggest obstacle that people have to overcome when it comes to that syndrome?
Well, again, the debilitating fatigue is an issue that we see, heart failure, you know, infections that can be fatal. I think what we are seeing, our challenge right now is that there is no targeted therapy for Barth syndrome, which is why I really appreciate you bringing me on to the show, because the challenge is that there is a drug that is before the FDA right now for review. And after a very long and protracted journey with the FDA to try to get this across the threshold, the sponsor, Stealth Biotherapeutics, received a denial or a, a, a complete response letter, which basically outlined that the application that had been received by the FDA was not being approved. And in this video that I shared with you are families who are asking during an advisory committee, asking for the FDA to please consider approving the drug. The advisory committee made a recommendation in a 10-6 vote that the drug be approved. And 97% of the time, the FDA, especially when there's not a therapy for a condition approved, do go along with what the advisory committee recommends. We were actually shocked when we found out that the company received a complete response letter, which happened to be on the same day that we received a letter, or Barth Syndrome Foundation received a letter, a response letter from a petition that we had filed 17 months earlier. And we had requested that a new drug application be filed by the FDA because previously it had not been. The company received a refusal to file letter and then we asked for a fair and equitable review of Elameprotide using the advisory committee process. So two of those things had passed. So we were hopeful that we were going to get a favorable review, and then found out on the very same day that we received that letter where our petition had been granted that the company received a denial from the FDA. So right now we are in full throttle push trying to get the leadership to hear us, because we don't believe that this is in keeping with Commissioner McCary and Secretary Kennedy's efforts to fast track rare and ultra rare drug approval or processes. And I say approval, but the review processes. So we need more drugs for rare conditions. We don't need fewer.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot there, Shelley, that you mentioned. Let me bring it back down to just a local level for a moment. And if you could just talk a little bit about maybe what kind of test is out there for someone to test if they have this, and then what is the treatment afterwards if someone perhaps does have this?
Well, typically what will happen is that the child will, if it shows up early in life, the child will be in heart failure, and a genetic test hopefully would be run, so the doctor would be able to determine the cause of the heart failure or cardiomyopathy in the child. We also see the child may come down with a septic infection or have neutropenia as a symptom of it. Neutropenia is a leading cause of death, or sepsis is a leading cause of death, because neutropenia is a condition where they have a sometimes zero neutrophils, which are the body depends on to fight infection. So even a paper cut can become lethal. So those two things are pretty much what you'll see earlier in life, but they can do, the doctor can order a genetic test and determine if it's Barth syndrome. Unfortunately, right now, the only therapies that are available are therapies that you would commonly use for heart failure or to treat cardiomyopathy, or neutropenia, but not a targeted therapy for Barth syndrome, which is why this drug is so important.
Okay, and so if you can, for our viewers who are just perhaps many of them learning about Barth syndrome, what would you tell them in terms of, if there's, help, if there's ways to test for it? You just mentioned it's kind of a rare kind of treatment as well, and what they can do to just really support this idea of getting a drug out to people who affected the most.
Well, I would say I would ask if the child has, if somebody or the parents should ask for genetic testing if the child has cardiomyopathy to find out the cause. I think that, people don't often think that having a diagnosis can make a difference, but it can make a difference, because it's kind of like a firefighter, right? If a firefighter doesn't know what a fire is not a fire. They're not going to throw water on an oil fire, or a fire that's being caused by a chemical. They need to know what they're up against in order to extinguish the fire. Well, it's the same thing with any kind of condition, and particularly with Barth. It's a very complicated condition, and people are very lonely when you have fewer than 150 people in the United States and 500 worldwide. You need a village and you need support. So we have a very strong group of families. We conduct research with the Barth Syndrome Foundation. We have conferences that we bring families together with educational programs, because it's nice to just fit in. And this is what we have been told over and over again with our families. And so I would ask the doctor for genetic testing, and certainly reach out to the Barth Syndrome Foundation if the child is diagnosed with a disorder. I'll pick up the phone, I promise, and I will be there for the families through thick and thin, whatever they need.
Shelley Bowen with the Barth Syndrome Foundation joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. That website, barthsyndromefoundation.org. Is that right?
That's it. It's a long one.
Yeah, it is. Well, listen, thank you for coming on the digital desk and really kind of explaining what this syndrome is, what this disorder is, how rare it is, and how there is help for people who may have it and are living with this difficult syndrome. We appreciate your time on the digital desk. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. Okay. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. I want to tell you a little bit about the historic Ruffin Theater. This is a tiny community theater that is in Tipton County, Tennessee. You can see part of it here. Just a year ago, this theater was dangerously threatening to close after years of mismanagement, but through various community partnerships, through new leadership, the Ruffin Theater is not only surviving, but is thriving. And I want to bring in someone who let us know about this, who is helping with keeping the historic Ruffin Theater alive. I'm joined on the Action News 5 digital desk by Leanne Harmon. She is someone who's very instrumental in the historic Ruffin Theater. So Leanne, good morning to you. Tell me about your role here and a little bit of the history of the Ruffin Theater.
Good morning. So I am your board treasurer, but also I help out with like booking talent and just making sure that we always have something on the stage at the Ruffin.
Okay, great. Well, that's fantastic news. Tell us a little bit of the backstory of the Ruffin Theater, its history, and how it almost closed permanently and where it is now.
So historically, it started out as a movie house in the 20s. It did burn and had to be rebuilt. And then after that, they started doing like live music and theatrical productions, things like that. It's actually rumored that Elvis played there. We haven't been able to get it legitimized, but we believe that he was there. Everybody wants to believe that Elvis played their theater. So, just for years, they've done local live music and theatrical productions. The Tipton Arts Council actually owns the building and produces the theatrical productions. But COVID was hard, like for many places. And then things just got really hard. It started to be hard to make the bills. And some poor leadership, I think, helped lead to that. But there were a few board members and we realized that things really weren't the way that they needed to be and just tried to pick up the pieces and run with it. So here we are, open and thriving, and we've got big acts coming, not just, we love our local live music and our local theater, but we've got big things coming because tonight we're going to have Andy Gross, who's actually been on numerous TV shows like Ellen. He actually has his own Amazon Prime show now, so it's a big deal. And we just want everybody to know that our little theater is a big deal.
Excellent, excellent. So tell me a little bit about where it is, how people can get involved, and perhaps ways that people can get tickets. Yes.
All right. So we function solely on volunteers. So all of our board is volunteers. If you come in, you see our front of house, people running the ticket booth or the concession stand, those are all volunteers, and we'd love to have anybody that would like to volunteer. You can send us a message through our website, tiptonartscouncil.org. That's the best way to get in touch with us. That's also how you buy tickets for any of like Andy Gross or any of our theatrical productions, anything that we have going on at the theater. That's where you can purchase tickets.
And is it in Covington?
It is. It's in downtown Covington, Tennessee, and it's just the cutest little square. If you think in your mind about what like a historic downtown small town square should look like, that's what Covington Square looks like. And they have the best businesses. It's just a great little community. And I'm not even from Tipton County, but I love Tipton County so much that we spend most of our time there. They actually have Depot Days coming up this weekend. It's their first annual one. So it's in the little Depot district. They have a new distillery that just opened. So the Ruffin, not only is the Ruffin thriving, but Tipton County and the heart of Covington is thriving, and they're helping keep us alive too.
Fantastic. Okay, so the Tipton Arts Council, if people want to search for that, they'll be able to search and see the Ruffin Theater and ways to get tickets. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Anything else you want to mention before we let you go, Leanne? This has been great.
No, sir. Just thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely. Okay, Leanne Harmon joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk, talking about this historic theater that is once again making its way into the hearts and minds of many people all across the Mid-South. Leanne Harmon, thank you for joining us on the Digital Desk. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Well, hello there. It's me, Dolly. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Coming up in just a minute, you're going to hear from one of my people who's going to tell you all about all the fun things happening here at Dollywood to celebrate our 40th anniversary season this year. You don't want to miss it. Now stay right here, and we'll be right back.
And we are back here in the Action News 5 Digital Desk talking about the 40th anniversary of Dollywood. Yeah, it's been around 40 years. It's going to be a spectacular summer for anyone that goes to Dollywood as they celebrate 40 years. This was something that started as a roadside attraction just on the side of the road, it seemed like, in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, East Tennessee, and is now turned into the #1 theme park in America. This is according to TripAdvisor reviews. And joining me now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I am joined by Pete Owens. He is Vice President of Marketing and PR at Dollywood. And Pete, I see that you're out and about among some of the crowds there. Good morning to you. Tell me what's going on in Dollywood.
Good morning to you. It's a beautiful day here in East Tennessee. We're right on what we call Show Street, which is our front room. Right when you walk in the gate, this is the first thing that you're going to see. You see the kite sky behind me that's celebrating summer. We're getting ready to open our summer festival this summer, and as you said, it's going to be a great year for us. It is the 40th anniversary. We're celebrating all of those things that we've done in the past, but we're also trying to make new memories with families, and we've got some great new shows, including a brand new drone and fireworks show for summer that's going to do some things that folks around here, and actually folks all over the region, have probably never seen before, and that's drones that actually have fireworks on them, and they work together. So it's going to be a pretty interesting summer.
It sounds like it, and right now, you know, our audience is looking at some video from Dollywood, just a great attraction there that so many people from our area here in the Mid-South, you know, West Tennessee, North Mississippi, Eastern Arkansas, thousands of families here love to go to Dollywood in East Tennessee and Pigeon Forge and check things out. So when they arrive this summer, Pete, give us some details on what exactly they can expect this summer that's going to be different from years past.
Well, I mean, we're celebrating the 40th anniversary primarily with shows. We've got a brand new show called Play On that goes through the 40 years of entertainment. You said that Dollywood really started as a roadside attraction, which is true. Started with our train all the way back in 1960. But when we became Dollywood after the 1985 season of Silver Dollar City, we really started to build our brand on entertainment. I mean, obviously that makes sense for Dolly because she is a legend in the entertainment industry, and we have legendary shows. So Play On really chronicles all of that. Talked a minute ago about the summer celebration that we have with the incredible 40th anniversary drone and fireworks show, which goes part of our Sweet Summer Nights dance party that comes out in the evening as soon as it starts to get a little dusky around here. But folks can really, they can reminisce about all of the great food they've had. We're celebrating the best food for 40 years. We're celebrating the best rides over the years. And there are a lot of different little surprises and icons around that folks will remember, including a brand new sign that we've put in that is an homage to what Dolly said all the way back in 1980 when she moved to Hollywood, saw the Hollywood sign and said, "That looks like Dollywood." And we have a Dollywood sign up that is the thing that we used back in 1985 to announce Dollywood. So really some fun, cool things. But any day at Dollywood's a great day. You can go to Dollywood Splash Country or water park. Folks from West Tennessee can come up and stay in one of our resorts. But just enjoy the day here in the Great Smoky Mountains. It's the most beautiful place on the planet and a great place to come for vacation.
I love it. I love it, Pete. So if someone's watching right now, they're interested in bringing their family, what do you recommend they do?
Well, first place to go is go to Dollywood.com. And the opportunity there is you can plan your visit. You can see what value pricing we have for the summer. We have a lot of different deals going this summer, both for the resorts and for the parks, and an opportunity for them to see what the best thing is for them. And then before they arrive, download the Dollywood app so they have the opportunity to see show schedule, the map that we have that's on the app, and any new offers we have. We also have mobile ordering on our app so that if you're out doing something in the park, you decide you and your family want to have lunch, you can order ahead and you can get your lunch whenever you arrive. So it is, technology is new in a theme park that started with an 1880s theme, but there's a lot of trip planning tools that we have and a lot of offers we have for the summer, and that's what I would encourage folks to do first.
That sounds great. Pete Owens, Dollywood's VP of Marketing and PR. We appreciate you coming on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, celebrating 40 years of Dollywood. Thanks so very much.
Thank you.
Okay, have a great summer, of course. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I want to tell you about a free summer bridge academy for Memphis middle and high school students. This is going to be a 3-week-long program where kids, middle and high school kids, can brush up and boost their academic skills, their confidence. Again, this is for rising 8th, 9th, and 10th graders in the city of Memphis. I want to bring in someone that is a part of the organization doing this. I'm joined now by Courtney Richardson. He is with the Peer Power Foundation to talk about this Bridge Summer Camp. And Courtney, good morning to you. Tell me about the program and how it's going to work.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having us on this morning. So we have a summer bridge program, and it's to do exactly what the name says. In the summertime, it is important for students to have an academic bridge from the end of school year to the beginning of the school year. And so we're deploying our college students who are success coaches to create a fun learning environment for young people who are uprising 8th through 10th grade students, so that when they get to the classroom, here's what I told the team. When they get to their class the first week of school, we want their teachers to say, what did you do this summer? Because you are on par, or you are mastering the content that you need to master for your grade level.
That sounds great. I love that idea. And I know there's going to be a lot of parents and teachers that love the idea as well. So how does someone get set up, and sign up for this program? Where is it? All those details.
So the program is going to be at Mace High School on Poplar Avenue. We want to give a shout out to that executive director over there, Mr. Gaston, for hosting this camp. And to sign up, families and students can go to peerpowerfoundation.org. Notice I said parents and students, parents and families, because sometimes it is the students who say, I am going to Peer Powers Camp, because what we like to say is, hey, if the students don't enjoy it, or if the students don't advertise for it and they are the target audience, then we need to do some work. But we always have students who are interested. So you can go to peerpowerfoundation.org to sign up, or any of our social media sites and sign up as well.
Okay, so take me through. Is this the first year? Take me through like what it's going to be like. It's Monday through Thursday, I understand, and it's from 9 to 3. Is it just like class? Is it something different? Explain.
So it's going to be Monday through Thursday. We're going to have level 4 and level 5 teachers providing instruction, and our highly trained and highly skilled success coaches, which are college students, are going to be there to help support or fill in the gap for those students who may need a little extra support. But this is also going to be filled with project-based learning. Our partners over at University Schools Innovative School District is a project-based learning school, and that is a practice that allows for students to do projects that are aligned with content, with curriculum, and with standards. So students are going to come away with some projects, and it's going to be fun, which is a part of Peer Power's model. You have our college students who are close in age with them, who are providing a fun learning environment. In fact, our college students are working in the month of June to create lessons and to create activities that would allow for students not just to sit in classroom and have boring lessons, but to have engaging lessons that would help them move academically. And so it's going to be fun. There will be some field trips. There are going to be incentives as well. There will also be other high school students who will be providing some support to their peers as well, which is why we are Peer Power. We believe in the power of the peer, not just the pressure that peers create. We believe that peers have the power to help peers succeed.
So this is going to be Monday through Thursday, July 7th it begins. This is right after the 4th of July weekend, July 7th through the 24th at Mace, the Memphis Academy of Science and Engineering. I understand registration closed later this month. Again, give us the details so people can sign up. We know it's already free, but give us the details again so people know where to sign up.
Okay, so registration will close later at the end of the month if it lasts that long. We are seeing much interest in this camp. But you can go to peerpowerfoundation.org to sign up for your student, or you can sign up to be a part of our Summer Bridge program. That's Monday through Thursday. It's going to be happening at Mace High School there on Poplar Avenue. And we look forward to serving you. If you have any questions, you can email programs@peerpowerfoundation.org, and one of my amazing team members will get with you to give you details that you need.
Courtney, one more thing. How many people are you expecting? How many students are you expecting this year?
So we're expecting about 125 students to be a part of this amazing opportunity. And from my understanding, we're well over halfway there. And that number is growing.
Okay, Courtney Richardson, the Peer Power Foundation, talking about a free Summer Bridge Academy for Memphis middle and high school students next month. Registration closes on Friday, June 27th. We appreciate your time, Courtney. Thank you for all that you're doing to help out the students this summer.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to coming
happy Monday out there to you. We're starting off on a dry note. We aren't going to be ending on a dry note. Temperatures today going to be starting in the 70s, ending in the middle 80s. Rain chances increasing, especially as we head into those afternoon and evening hours. So let me take you hour by hour as we head morning until about noon. I think mainly dry conditions are going to be prevailing across the Mid-South. Lots of clouds throughout your day ahead. Noon and on is when we start to see some of those storms come back up into the Mid-South, especially in places like North Mississippi into your early afternoon, making a northerly swing as they do into the evening as well for places like western Tennessee. I don't think everybody going to get in on a heavier pocket of rainfall today. They're going to be pretty scattered in nature, but again, if you do get under one of these, they could be heavy at times into your afternoon and early evening hours. Those should taper off overnight, and then we're going to be starting off with more showers and storms depending on where you are out there for your Tuesday morning. Places like northern Mississippi, especially northeast Mississippi, going to be seeing some heavier downpours out there for your Tuesday morning commute. Here's the good news. These showers are going to be tapering off throughout your day on Tuesday. So afternoon and evening hours, not as greater chances as they are today. Chances of rain into your work week ahead. Main 2 days that we're looking at are going to be today and then also out there for your Thursday. Not going to say you couldn't see a shower or two Tuesday and a Wednesday, but better chances remain today and Thursday. After Thursday, the good news is we're going to be seeing drier conditions prevailing in the Mid-South for your weekend ahead. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday looking good to go. Dry, but also pretty hot out there. Late week into your weekend, you can expect that summer heat to really ramp up. Saturday is our first official day of summer, and it is going to be feeling like that. Humidity increasing, feels like temperatures, you're looking at that right in the triple digits late week. Take a look at this, your highs versus your like temperatures on the top. Going to be feeling like the 90s today through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday feeling like the triple digits. It is going to be that typical summertime heat that we see here across the Mid-South coming into play this weekend. Would not be surprised if we see our first heat alerts of the season issued for this weekend as well. Going to be a hot one out there if you do have any plans outdoors. As for your 10-day forecast, again, rain chances still sticking around through your work week ahead. We're seeing temperatures in the middle 80s today, upper 80s to near 90 throughout the rest of your work week. Middle 90s return Saturday into Sunday. And again, those feels like temperatures pretty warm in the triple digits for the weekend ahead. We'll see the 90s stick around all the way into our last official full week of June.
Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. You know, the kids are out for school. You got summer season upon us, and why not take a trip somewhere? And one of the most affordable ways is perhaps going camping around your area, or maybe taking a road trip and going camping. It has become more popular than ever. In fact, 1 of 4 leisure trips out there now includes camping. Let's talk more about this idea of camping across our region and really across the country right now. I'm joined on the Action News 5 Digital Desk by Senior Vice President of Marketing for Campgrounds of America, KOA, Diane Eichler, joining us on the digital desk to talk about camping. So, Diane, let's talk about this. It feels like a resurgence of camping out there across the country, but for me and my family, we've always enjoyed camping. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So, tell me about this this popularity that we are seeing in camping all across the country.
Yeah, camping has always historically been a really great summer activity, but over the last 5 or 6 years, we have welcomed over 11 million new campers to camping. So we at KOA are super excited to open up our peak season and welcome all of our campers, old and new, out into the great outdoors again this year.
Yeah, so tell me more about it, because I saw this stat where it said 1 in 4 of those trips, you know, people pick business or pleasure or leisure, and 1 of 4 of those leisure trips involve camping in some form or fashion. And we're talking about all kinds of camping, the RV type or the tents, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, you know, camping has grown. We have a lot of different accommodations that we offer at KOA. And to your point, we've got so many different demographics that are coming out to camp. It can be retirees, it can be Gen Zs who are historically traveling with their larger friend groups. We've got millennial families who are bringing kiddos in tows. We welcome pets. 50% of our campers camp with pets. So we have a really great curated Camp Canine program that welcomes our furry family members as well. And we have accommodations for all types of campers. If you're traveling in an RV, we've got great pull-through sites that have hookups and patios. We've got opportunities for tent campers. We've got glamping opportunities, which is one of my favorite ways to camp with our deluxe cabin product. You can come in, pack a suitcase. You don't need a lot of gear, and walk into a cabin that has a couple of bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchenette, and it's like having a hotel room in the great outdoors. So lots of different types of campers and lots of different accommodations that are available for our campers out in our great KOA system.
That sounds great. I mean, you got all kinds of different types of camping, from the very serious, I would say, to some that are glamping, as you mentioned. I'm curious about that to try and convince my wife. I'm an Eagle Scout, so I'm used to camping in the outdoors. So is my son. But to do a glamping, describe that once again. Is that probably isn't available at every KOA campground out there, but certainly, in fact, there's one near our area here in Marion, Arkansas. But I'm curious about the glamping, the cabin type feels. Tell me more.
Yeah, well, glamping has actually taken off in the last couple years. And so we have, as part of our glamping product, we've got deluxe cabins. At certain other campgrounds, we'll have yurts and tree houses and silos and what we consider unique accommodations. So it's not just a one-stop shop of one type of product, but there's lots of different variety, and each one of those unique glamping opportunities is often signature to space and place. So what you're going to have in potentially Tennessee might be very different than what you would find at one of our campgrounds in California. So that's one of the great things about KOA, is that none of them are the same. We're all unique, and we all have different signature opportunities at each campground.
Fantastic, Diane. Finally, if someone wants to maybe kind of look at this as perhaps a summer vacation for the family, where can they go online to do that?
Of course, visit us at KOA.com. And while you're there, I encourage everyone to hop on over to our blog. We've got lots of tips and tricks, tons of recipes, and lots of guides for you to help you get outdoors this summer in a really hassle-free and fun way.
That sounds great. Diane Eichler, we appreciate you coming on the Digital Desk, talking about the enjoyment and popularity of camping all across America. Thanks so very much.
Thank you so much, and happy camping this summer.
Morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We are always trying to have optimal health, especially this summer, where we're trying to get in shape. We're trying to be optimally healthy, both mentally and physically, nutrition-wise. And one of the things that we all have to keep in mind is that your oral health, your mouth health, has to be optimal as well if you want to lead a healthy life. And joining me right now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, Dr. Kevin Reed, a family dentist, to talk a little bit more about the importance of oral health. And Kevin, good morning to you. Let's talk a little bit about why the health of your mouth is so important to your overall health. Good morning.
Yes, Andrew, thank you. Listen, we all know about how important it is to have our teeth, right? We love our smiles. But what they've come up with in the last 10 to 15 years is the link between your teeth, your gums, and the blood supply that's going to your oral cavities and the rest of your body. And what we know, what they've proven, is that periodontal disease, which is over 70% of America after, of the world really, after 40 has periodontal disease. We know periodontal disease is a causal agent, a causal factor of some pretty serious systemic problems, such as heart disease, diabetes, stroke, the potential for strokes, Alzheimer's even, and preterm labor. That's just to name a few.
Yeah, there's no question that that kind of situation where you do not take care of your mouth and your body overall suffers. There's no question about it. So let's talk about some fundamental ways, Kevin, because we have thousands of people who watch us each and every morning on the digital desk. I know that your family practice has been in business now for 75 years. So where can people start to really kind of take care of their health orally when it comes to not only seeing a dentist, of course, but in between those dentist visits?
Well, so we don't just blow by that, though. Obviously, quote, seeing the dentist, but coming to a dentist where you get a comprehensive exam, where they are checking the amount of bleeding in your mouth, they're checking for your cavities. That is, and you're getting professional help from the hygienist and the dentist. That is like the number one step. And then they're going to help you tailor your home care, which is going to be brushing. Nowadays, there's some excellent electric brushes. Oral-B makes one, Sonicare makes one. They're fantastic. In addition to the manual brushing, which is when you brush your teeth, what we want you to know is think that you're brushing your gums. If you brush your gums, your teeth will get cleaned. And that is the most important factor in your mouth is the gums, the periodontal, which is gums. And then, of course, obviously people know about flossing. The electric brushes help with that for those that slack a little bit on flossing, but we recommend flossing. And the third adjunct that we recommend is a water pick. And then the amount of times that you come back to the dentist is really important, and that would be your maintenance care. Some people it's 3 months, some people it's 4 months. A healthy periodontal situation would be 6 months.
Let's talk about certain foods that you see in your practice that get people in trouble when it comes to their mouth, the oral care, that sort of thing.
Well, here is a very simple rule that we preach every day in our practice and have for 30 years. They've done studies about the amount of sugar that is retained in your saliva. And so let's be clear about one essential rule, and that is cavities can only start by sugar. So every time I have something with sugar, a lot of times it's liquid. It could be my coffee. It could be the morning Coke. That's not a problem if you have it in 30 minutes. The problem is every time you sip a drink that has sugar or eat a food that has sugar or a food that is a carbohydrate that can turn to sugar, every time you do that, your saliva retains enough sugar for 30 minutes to cause decay. So then when you put on top of that whatever your genetic makeup is, if you happen to have hard teeth, that may not be as big a factor. But if you've got softer teeth, that's a huge factor. So sugar is the number one element. We call it the 30-minute rule. Just remember, every time you have sugar in any form, it's a 30-minute rule. It's going to be in there for 30 minutes. So if you do that all day, you're bathing your teeth. And that is really the number one thing, is sugar. Now, I tell our patients, don't worry about your meals. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, have sugar. It's not a problem. Because what do we know? Even if you don't brush, now if you went and brushed, it would be gone, right? But if you don't brush right after the meal, we know it's going to be gone in 30 minutes. So the number one way to take care of your teeth is regular visits, but eliminate sugar between meals. You can use fake sugar. I'm not going to speak to whether or not fake sugar causes other problems. That's beyond my expertise. But fake sugar does not cause decay.
Yeah, no, that's good advice. Sugar causing cavities, that's huge, Kevin. Thank you. What about oral cancer, and how prevalent is it? Ways to prevent it, that sort of thing.
Again, we go back to the same theme. That is one of the most important things we're going to do in your checkups, your initial checkup, your follow-up maintenance checkups. We're going to be checking, and the best way to check for oral cancer is visually. And we do palpate and we look at the tongue and different areas that you can't see, but visually is the number one way. There are other devices out there that can shine a light, that can show areas of concern. Certainly, if we see an area of concern, we send you to an oral surgeon and they do biopsies. You want to eliminate things that potentially cause cancer. And let's talk about such as smokeless tobacco, such as regular smoking, cigars, cigarettes, that sort of thing. Let's go to the prevalence of oral cancer. It is on the rise. It has become a very significant health risk. I've been doing this 43 years. I know. I only look like I've been doing it 35, but I've been doing this 43 years, and the amount of cancer that we saw 40 years ago was nothing compared to the amount that we see now and send into people. Roughly 60,000 new cases in the United States occur every year. That's a lot. So oral cancer, big, big concern.
Where do people make the biggest mistakes, Kevin?
You know, I think it gets back to regular care. I think the biggest mistakes are the perception that if I, as an individual, look in my mouth and I don't see anything and I don't feel anything, that everything must be okay. Unfortunately, by the time we see or feel, it's probably gotten to a point that now we're in more serious problems such as root canals, crowns, or extractions. So I think they get in the mistake of not doing the daily maintenance and not doing the however much you need to do during the year, 1, 2, 3, or 4 visits with a dentist. I think that's the biggest mistakes, and too much sugar. People don't understand about sugar. You know, again, I go back to that. People would say, well, Doc, I only have 1 Coke a day. I go, that's fine. How long does it take you to drink your Coke? Well, I keep it on my desk and I have it all day long. So it's not quantity, it's frequency. And so I think sugar, I think lack of daily care, I think lack of regular maintenance visits with your dentist. That's the 3 big areas.
That's great. I appreciate that. 3 big bullet points right there. Anything else before we let you go, Kevin? This has been very informative for our viewers.
Well, I would just encourage you to find a dentist, Google them. We've got a fun documentary you can see about our practice, but there's 8,000 dentists in Shelby County, and they're great. And so find a dentist, find a dental home that fits you. Maybe it fits your insurance, whatever it needs to be for you to be able to use that plan. And let's go there. Let's let them guide you in your personal home care. And I think that's where you go. I think that's what you do.
All right. I appreciate it. Dr. Kevin Reed with Reed
one more
Family
thing.
Dentistry.
One more thing, Andrew.
Okay.
I did forget. And I don't know where I stand on this, but I want to bring it up. One of the things that's in the news right now is taking out fluoride from the water. And I didn't mention fluoride. I should be a dentist. I should say absolutely don't do that. What I'm going to tell you is after 18 to 20 years of age, fluoride in the water does nothing for your teeth. It does nothing for mature enamel. It's for children, okay? So there could be some argument. Maybe there's some scientific evidence that we didn't used to have, and maybe there's some reason why that could sometimes happen in communities. But what is there, what we've been using for 20 years, is we put fluoride on your teeth now, even as adults, and it's 22,000 parts per million, and it actually incorporates and strengthens the enamel. We didn't used to have that until about 15 or 20 years ago. So we do treat adult teeth with fluoride, and that's very important for hardening the teeth. In the water, great, very important for children. In the toothpaste, it's really insignificant. 80 to 100 parts per million does nothing really in the toothpaste. So that's important, fluoride.
Okay, all right. Well, you got that in there, Dr. Kevin Reed. We appreciate your time. Thanks for explaining how important oral care is to our overall health, where people make mistakes, what people can do, just simple, easy steps to live a optimal, healthy life. We appreciate your time on the Digital Desk. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Certainly a great conversation. Ty, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's Andrew Douglas. I can't believe how much your appearance has changed since you shaved off your beard, and you look like a different guy. You look like 20 years younger.
Hey, I'm working on it. I kind of play that game. That's the only way I can get younger. I kind of grow it out, get a little scruffy, shave it off. I may even dye my hair. I don't know. It's like
No, you look great.
Some way, right?
All good, all good. Listen, we're about 20 seconds away from you. Just wanted to say hello and appreciate you coming on the digital desk.
No problem at all. Glad to be here.
Okay, talk to you in a sec. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. Now is the best time, better than ever, to really kind of focus in on your health. And, a lot of times, guys, myself included, we wait until the very last minute to worry about our health. If we're not dying, then everything's fine, right? We can tough it out no matter what happens. Well, that's just not the way to do it these days. And not only that, but just a few years ago, there was this focus on dad bods, and, that was all the rage. Well, today, it's more about fitness. It's more about building strength, longevity, performance, not only for you to be healthy for yourself, but also for your family, to be the patriarch of your family for many, many years to come. So where do we begin? A lot of times, that kind of thing can be intimidating for us. If we don't work out regularly, we want to get healthy, but we don't know where to start. Where do we begin? Well, joining me now on the Action News 5 digital desk, I am joined by our fitness trainer at Lifetime Fitness in Collierville, Tyler Timms. He is with us now to kind of help us really think about not only physical health, but also a mental health and how to have optimal health this month and beyond, the summer season, the fall season, and beyond. Ty, thanks so much for joining us on the digital desk. So all those guys out there, where should they begin when it comes to that optimal health? Good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on, Andrew. This month is Men's Health Month, and it is truly important for men, for everybody, and this goes well beyond this month. But the basic thing you want to do is just get started. It is sometimes the most difficult thing to just put that foot forward and just get going. We have all kinds of new exercises in the club all the time. I work at Lifetime here. I'm with the training staff. And, one thing we really do is start where people are. We always want to make sure that, if you're just getting into it, you're not trying to kill yourself. One of the best things to do is start with body weight. We've got some really neat, I'm going to bring some neat body weight exercises in today, something easy to start with, kind of taking away the excuses. I don't have the equipment, I can't get to the gym, whatever you need to, whatever excuse you have, when you have body weight, gravity, and a little bit of space.
So let's dive in a little bit to that, Ty. I mean, a lot of people are going to come up with a myriad of excuses so they don't have to work out. Well, I can't do this, I can't do that. But you can always exercise each and every day, no matter what, right? Let's start it off.
All right. Well, and it's real important. When we're talking about men, it's one of those things. Metabolism, your hormones, everything gets shifted around, just like in women and men. Things change through the years. And what we're dealing with is a battle back, and that's what I get my mindset going with. Always trying to battle back every day, doing something a little bit better, doing something a little bit more, making a little better choice. And it's really about the choices that you get into. What I'm going to show you is about 4 or 5 different moves. Body weight oriented. You only need a little bit of space. I have a mat right here. You can use a couple different pieces of equipment. You really don't need it. If you manipulate gravity, there's a ton of stuff that you can do. There's a lot of professional athletes that really primarily just work body weight, and it's pretty spectacular some of the results that you can get. We're going to go through some push-up variations, a little bit of squats, some lunge, plank, bridge. All these things can be used with body weights. Let's get right into it. First thing I want to do is a couple different squat variations. And you've got your basic squat stance. So feet just outside shoulder width. And really the thing with the squat, you want to feel like you're balanced front to back, side to side, and you can change this up. Every exercise can be progressive or regressive. That means you can make it harder, you can make it a little bit easier. We're going to start with something right in the middle, and I'm going to show you how you can do this. So just basic squat form, you're right here. I'm going to turn to the side so you can kind of see what my hips are doing. I'm throwing my hips back. I'm getting my back and my shoulders and my head in a really good position. So this is a typical, really good body weight squat. You can get down, depending on your range of motion, how low you can go. And that low squat actually is a really healthy thing to do, making sure that you back and your hips and all get in the right type of position. You do about 30 to 50 of those, and you'll be toast. Start at 10. Start where you are. Get 5. Get 10. Build your way up. Body weight can really build up to a higher number. A lot of times I'm in the 15 to 30 range as far as reps. Make that exercise a little bit tougher. We're going to turn it into a single leg squat. You can use either a seat or you can just go straight body weight and go all the way down into what we call a system squat. Come all the way up, back out of it. Good challenge for those that are a little bit more high level. You got your double, you got your single. All right, we're going to go right into a push-up. So the plank form, either elevated or if you're down on the ground and you don't have something to elevate on, you can get down low. We're going to come back up to the top. This is a good regression. So when you're working with gravity, anything on incline is going to make it a little easier. If my feet and my head were swapped, now you're talking about something that's a little more difficult. Basic push up. Now, what I like to do with a lot of my clients, push up to what I call a T-twist. You get a lot of stability in the shoulder, and you're going to alternate that with both sides. Push up, rotate, push up, rotate. So those are excellent push exercises and a squat exercise for the body weight. Now, kind of pushing on into that next level, we're going to get down on the mat, and we're going to do a couple little core exercises. So right here, you've got, make sure I'm in the frame, you've got dead bug, you've got bridge, you've got long sit-ups, and you can add a rotation in here as well. Now I'm going to start breaking a sweat. And once you get through all those, the plank, the squat, and the push-up, if you want to add in another leg exercise, the lunge is also extremely effective. One thing I do with my lunges is I turn them into multi-planar. So coming into a lunge, back out. You can see I'm really dipping down into it. I'm letting the back work. I'm letting the hips work. If I go out to the side, get down nice and deep. I can come up. You can go left and right. So those are multi-planar. You go into frontal plane, you go into sagittal plane. So that all gives you, and I'm a little bit out of breath. That gives you a little bit of
I liked exactly what you were doing. I think you moved so much, Ty, that I think your microphone may have dropped a little bit. But listen, I love all this stuff because this is something that people can do anywhere, whether they're traveling for business in a hotel room or at home or somewhere else where they might not necessarily be able to get to a gym. This is something that they can do, and so diet, of course, always is good with exercise. A lot of people want to do things to boost their metabolism. Where do people get in, make mistakes and kind of get in that rut of maybe doing too much too soon or not doing enough or just losing the aspects and the drive to come to the gym or continue these exercises?
Right. It's can you hear me okay?
It's a little bit echoey. When you were doing some of your exercises, it sounded like the mic had slipped somewhere. But we can hear you. It's just not as optimal.
Right there. Okay, sorry about that. So, what people get involved with is a lot of read and imitate. Internet, friends, and it's not very specific to them. So one thing we do here at Lifetime is we really go through a pretty detailed, what we call it, discovery. It lets us know where you are, put a plan together. So the first thing for everybody is set a goal. Set a goal, set a short-term goal, set a long-term goal. That goal has to have a plan around it. It needs, some thought to it. What that is can be a lot of different things. That's where the individual customization comes in. You really want to educate. So we're big on entertaining, educating. We're friendly and inviting. That's part of our mission statement. We really want to educate and make sure people know where they're starting, where they need to start. So there's a lot of information out there, but basically you just want to start below. I have this saying. I said, underperform regularly. It's one of those things. Consistency will get you to a really good place, but that's a foundation. And then you want to go a little bit farther. Men want to build muscle beyond just body weight exercises. You may want to go into a loading phase. So different phases are really important. Start with a lot of balance, stability, flexibility, just general conditioning. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to get to the end. And that's just a good piece of advice everywhere, from business to, it's my parents gave that advice to me. It's go through the steps. I always think about farmers. Boy, they have to go through all these steps, and it starts with that very first one to get to that harvest. And that's your body. That's the same thing.
Yeah, no question about it, Ty. And I just want to review for folks that you gave us 5 fundamental body weight workout movements: push-ups, squats, the lunge, plank, and a gluten bridge. Anything else you want to mention before we let you go here? Because these are great tips for people out there just trying to focusing on getting back to being more physically fit and as a result, mentally fit.
Right. Well, there's a lot of help out there. We have a club. We're here right in Collierville. We're just off Houston Lake. It's a great place to come in, to get away, shut the life out, outside, and really do something good for yourself. But if you're not able to get to our physical location, there are a lot of places around. Use something convenient. Use something that's close to you. We have an app that is free for everyone. It has tons of information, education, workouts that are on there, and all you have to do is download it. There is no cost to it. We would love for you to be a member here, but that is something that our company has made sure that everybody in the world can get hold of. And there is a workout. There are tons of great workouts. And just like I took you through, there are body weight workouts. There are loaded workouts. You can get little pieces of equipment and go through these programs. I would highly suggest that. And the other piece is just the nutrition side of it. Going through your normal diet, just changing a few things. Supplement when necessary. Drink a lot of water. Add a little more protein, and then focus on recovery and sleep. Those are things that all men should do, but everybody can use that advice as well.
All right, there he is, Tyler Timms, fitness trainer at Lifetime Fitness in Collierville. Appreciate the tips, Tyler. Great stuff, and always looking for better ways for optimal health. We appreciate your time.
Hey, no problem. Just keep moving. Keep moving, Memphis. Let's keep it going.
That's good advice right there. Appreciate it, Ty. Thank you. Another live look from our High Five camera here on the Action News 5 digital desk. As you can see, some clouds moving into our area. We'll be talking more about your forecast in 1 minute.
Mississippi into your early afternoon, making a northerly swing as they do into the evening as well for places like western Tennessee. I don't think everybody going to get in on a heavier pocket of rainfall today. They're going to be pretty scattered in nature, but again, if you do get under one of these, they could be heavy at times into your afternoon and early evening hours. Those should taper off overnight, and then we're going to be starting off with more showers and storms depending on where you are out there for your Tuesday morning. Places like northern Mississippi, especially northeast Mississippi, going to be seeing some heavier downpours out there for your Tuesday morning commute. Here's the good news. These showers are going to be tapering off throughout your day on Tuesday. So afternoon and evening hours, not as greater chances as they are today. Chances of rain into your work week ahead. Main 2 days that we're looking at are going to be today and then also out there for your Thursday. Not going to say you couldn't see a shower or two Tuesday and a Wednesday, but better chances remain today and Thursday. After Thursday, the good news is we're going to be seeing drier conditions prevailing in the Mid-South for your weekend ahead. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday looking good to go. Dry, but also pretty hot out there. Late week into your weekend, you can expect that summer heat to really ramp up. Saturday is our first official day of summer, and it is going to be feeling like that. Humidity increasing, feels like temperatures, you're looking at that in the triple digits late week. Take a look at this. Your highs versus your like temperatures on the top. Going to be feeling like the 90s today through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday feeling like the triple digits. It is going to be that typical summertime heat that we see here across the Mid-South coming into play this weekend. Would not be surprised if we see our first heat alerts of the season issued for this weekend as well. Going to be a hot one out there if you do have any plans outdoors. As for your 10-day forecast, again, rain chances still sticking around through your work week ahead. We're seeing temperatures in the middle 80s today, upper 80s to near 90 throughout the rest of your work week. Middle 90s return Saturday into Sunday. And again, those feels like temperatures pretty warm in the triple digits for the weekend ahead. We'll see the 90s stick around all the way into our last official full week of June.
Your News 5 digital desk. There is a new exhibit at the Children's Museum of Memphis. I remember when my kids were young, we always used to go to the Children's Museum of Memphis. It's so great. It's so wonderful for them. Just get totally immersed in whatever section and whatever area, whatever play area they can get into. This one is really interesting because kids are going to be able to have this kind of immersive experience with an ocean exhibit. It's called Ocean and Me, and joining me now on the Action News 5 digital desk, the CEO of the Children's Museum of Memphis, also a developmental psychologist, Dr. Stuart Burgess, on the Action News 5 digital desk. So tell me a little bit about Ocean and Me, Stuart. Good morning.
Good morning. Ocean and Me is super exciting. I love that you use the word immersive because it's designed to be just that. All of the play and learning that goes on in Ocean and Me is designed to happen as if you were under the sea. It really focuses a lot on celebrating reading and making reading particularly interesting and a focal point of the experience. Also problem solving. There's some math slid in there tied to treasure and jewels on the bottom of the ocean floor to make it really fun and exciting. And then there are all things ocean, wacky ocean facts of all kinds that even make adults go, "Are you serious? I can't believe that." And that's all designed to make it so that kids and their adults share the sort of, oh, wow, experience of learning in a meaningful, immersive, and interesting context.
That sounds amazing, Stuart. It really sounds good. Tell me what age it caters to. I know that there are all kinds of ages that go to the Children's Museum. What age is this exhibit specifically catered to?
So this one really probably works well for anybody from about 4 to 12 or so. But younger kids will enjoy the immersive quality of it. The lights are down low, and there's uplighting to make it look a little oceany inside. There are lots of fun things that you can do that are pretty straightforward, so you don't have to be a reader to be able to enjoy this. The other piece is in the reading scenarios, the setups that we have, including a giant undersea dome where you have plastic bubble chairs that adults and children sit in together. It can be that the adult is reading a story to the child. It doesn't have to be the child who's reading. And so there's pretty wide range, actually.
Fantastic. Okay, so this exhibit, I understand, goes through the month of August, and we're talking about all kinds of different things because I'm reading about it and I see that it has like puffer fish. They got you have a sunken ship there, submersible, a fish wall. What is the most popular? Because it's been open now for a few days. What's been the most popular area that you've seen kids really enjoy?
They go all over it. So they really kind of pinball machine all the different parts, which is our intention, to make each of the learning and playful space vignettes to really attract kids. They love to rearrange all of these fish on Velcro walls into schools of fish and to learn about which kinds of fish group together in schools and which don't and all of that. We think there are a couple new pieces this year. There's a really cool Find the Treasure challenge, which we think that kids are going to really gravitate toward, and I'm looking forward to watching that.
Absolutely, Stuart. Thank you. Anything else you want to mention about this? I mean, how can people see it? How much does it cost to get into the exhibit? If you're a member, non-member, that sort of thing.
Sure. This is no additional charge. So after you pay your entrance fee, or if you're already a member, this is just part of the experience that we add to sort of the return on investment that you get for paying a little bit of money to make sure your kids are having a great time learning. It's about 3,000 square feet, and it's also the ocean theme, and bringing down the lights and a nice air-conditioned space is a nice complement or counterpoint to some of the outdoor play and our splash pad during the summer. So that's super exciting. And if reading is also a big ticket item on your list for summer, which it always should be for children of all ages, then we've also got a brand new reading challenge program called Level Up that kids and parents and grandparents are being really excited about.
Fantastic, and I know that if museum members get in for free, non-members it's $18 to enter. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
Okay, Dr. Stuart Burgess with Children's Museum of Memphis. Thanks for coming on the digital desk and telling us about that latest display, that latest exhibit, Ocean and Me. Sounds fantastic for all the kids this summer. We appreciate your time. Thanks for all you do at the museum, too.
You're
Back to the Action News 5 digital desk. There is an event that's returning to Memphis in the Mid-South, and this is an event that people love. In fact, they crave, because as we all know, we have some of the best beer around, okay, because we have some of the best water around. But this is a festival of beers that not only encompass some of the local beers, but beers all across the region, all across the nation, even internationally. I'm joined on the Action News 5 digital desk by Matt Leff. He is the organizer for Memphis Brewfest that's coming to Shelby Farms Park this year, June 21st. It's right around the corner. And Matt, glad to have you on the digital desk. Let's talk about why the move to Shelby Farms Park, other than, of course, it being a great venue. Good morning.
Sure. Good morning and nice to see everybody. So yeah, we are super excited to be coming to Memphis and reviving Memphis Brewfest at its new home, Shelby Farms Park. And we chose the location for its ease. It's a beautiful site. There's free parking. We have a beautiful stage right there on the festival field where we'll have live music throughout the day by Free World. So it's just a great location, and we're super pumped to be handling it and hosting it there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so tell us a little bit about it, because I know that, you know, this is an event that typically sells out. Tell us about the beers, first of all, because this is, after all, a festival of beer.
Yeah, so we have personally invited, I should say, 40, not 35, which it says behind me, but we have 40 of the best breweries locally and regionally across the Southeast. So all your Memphis favorites will be there, most of them showing up with special offerings and things that you may only find if you visit their tap room versus, say, shopping at your local liquor store or even grocery store. So all your locals are there. We have many breweries coming from across the state of Tennessee and then just the surrounding areas. So last count, I believe we have 137 unique beers that our guests will be able to sample throughout the day out at Shelby Farms Park.
Fantastic. And so this is from noon until 5 o'clock on Saturday, June 21st. And there's a limited number of tickets, and you guys have it that way so it doesn't get too crowded and the crowd's too big, right?
Of course. Yeah. Guest experience is our number one priority. We don't want you waiting in line to try a beer. We don't want you waiting in line to go to the bathroom. We don't want you waiting in line to get food. We want to make sure that your ticket feels valuable and that you have a wonderful experience. So those tickets are $65 and it includes everything but food. Food is the only add-on. If you're hungry, you support local great food trucks and local vendors from the Memphis area while doing so. So yeah, it's going to be a great day, and we are fingers crossed for awesome weather. Hopefully your weather team can dial that in for us.
Yeah, no question about it. I was going to say, so food trucks are going to be there. And what I understand, Matt, is that, you know, you're nothing new to dealing with these beer festivals across Tennessee. Tell me a little bit about your background.
Yeah, sure. So my business is Rhizome Productions. We're a full-service festival and events production company based in Nashville, but we've produced festivals all over the state, including Memphis in the past, as well as Knoxville, Chattanooga, and then the Middle Tennessee area. And we actually started in 2011 explicitly as a beer festival company. We've evolved and grown to do all kinds of things across the event space, including music festivals, food events, fundraisers for nonprofits and corporate groups. So we run the spectrum of events. We just wrapped up supporting country music festivals here in Nashville the past 12 days. So we're just a diverse group of folks, but we love beer at our core. And we're really excited that we're able to influence Memphis Brewfest into the future and hopefully put it back on everybody's calendar every year moving forward this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I've certainly attended in years past, but it's been a while. It's been a minute. But certainly Shelby Farms Park, that venue in that environment is I would think would be quite the celebration for sure. Let's talk about ways that people can learn more, I guess a website and where people can buy tickets, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So easiest thing to do, go to memphisbrewfest.com. You will find everything you need to know there, all the breweries, all the vendors, all the food trucks, of course, how to buy your tickets, most importantly. And also just want to share that if you use the code DRINKGOODBEER, you can save a few dollars on those general admission tickets. So when you go over to Memphis Brewfest, just click that tickets button and use the code DRINKGOODBEER to save a couple dollars on those general admission tickets. That code is unlimited usage. So if you want to roll out there with a group of 10 people, feel free to use that code for all 10 tickets. But yeah, you'll be able to learn everything you need at our website, directions to Shelby Farms Park if you've never been before, or maybe you're just a little unfamiliar with the area. But everything you need to know is right there. And of course, I should mention that you do need to be 21 and up to come. Can't bring the kids. This is an adults afternoon only.
21 and over, yes, absolutely. Okay, Matt Leff, we appreciate your time here on the digital desk. Good luck on the 21st. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks so much. Cheers, everybody.
All right, cheers to you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We always love celebrating Memphians that are doing amazing things everywhere and on the national stage, on a regional stage, international stage, what have you. And joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I am joined by Dr. Martin McCain. He is a faculty member from the Rudy E. Scheidt School of Music at the University of Memphis. Go Tigers go, by the way. And he is a trombonist on the Disney soundtrack for the Lilo and Stitch remake that's out in theaters right now. Martin, great to meet you. So first off, tell me a little bit about yourself. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. So I'm a musician. As you said, I teach at the University of Memphis. I grew up in Memphis in Whitehaven. And outside of teaching college students, I'm a member of the Count Basie Orchestra. If you go to the musicals at the Orpheum, the trombonist of the Orpheum Theater. And so I get to perform in a lot of different genres and get to teach wonderful next generation of musicians.
So tell me about getting this opportunity. How does it come about where, you have this remake? It's a big movie. It was a big TV show back in the day. It is now in theaters, and you're a trombonist. You're on the soundtrack. How does that all happen?
Well, it's a funny thing. Like when you're a recording artist and you're a studio musician, sometimes you show up to the recording studio and you have no idea who you're recording for. And that was the same situation here with Royal Studio. We were told that Bruno Mars was going to have a part of this project, but we had no idea it was for a Disney film. And so we went into the studio, we recorded Burning Love, and really did not know what it was going to come of. And then I didn't find out until a month later when I received the check. I just did a little bit of research and I saw that this was going to be a part of the new Disney movie. So that's an interesting story how I found out.
That's fantastic, and I'm sure it was nice to see the check and everything associated with that. So so tell me, if people go and see this movie in the theaters, are they going to be able to know which song? And you're a trombonist, so how are they going to be able to pick you out, or at least the song that you're a part of? How about that?
Yeah, so one great thing that this movie is doing, from even the original that came out in 2002, there's a lot of Elvis music in this movie, which is, very iconic with Memphis. But the one track that we recorded at Royal Studio is Burning Love, which is towards the end of the movie. And so, yeah, this is a really nice one because actually Bruno Mars' nephews are singing this, and then we are the horn section in the background.
Fantastic. That is awesome. So, so tell me about people's reaction, family members, friends, to you being on this soundtrack and Burning Love, as you mentioned. Elvis Presley, here we go.
Absolutely. Well, especially in my family, a lot of my family members are huge Disney fans, and my sister goes to Disney World at least 3 times a year. So everybody was extremely excited. I've been on a few different soundtracks before, but never Disney. So that's definitely a special thing for me.
I would think so. I would think so. So tell me what you do at the University of Memphis. Are you a professor? What do you teach?
Yeah, so I'm the trombone professor. So I teach students from freshmen all the way to doctoral students and students who want to be performers or future band directors, educators. And so it's fantastic. I get to work with around 20 trombone students each week. And yeah, we have a really beautiful thing going on at the Scheidt School of Music, especially in our brand new Performing Arts Center.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, a great situation all around. Anything else you want to share with our audience? We have thousands of people that watch each and every morning here on the digital desk. And not only are they love to celebrate University of Memphis, Memphis Tigers, and a Memphian doing extraordinary things on an international level. Anything else we can talk about, Martin?
Well, I would just say, please go see the movie. I just read last night that the movie is still #1 on the charts, and it's been out for 2 weeks now. So that's amazing with all the great movies that usually come out during the summer season. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely check out the movie.
Yeah, and this is a remake of the kids program back in the late 90s, is it?
The first Lilo and Stitch came out in 2002, and then there was a sequel, and then it became a TV series as well.
Gotcha. Okay, all right. Appreciate you setting me that straight. Well, listen, Dr. Martin McCain joining us on the digital desk on the soundtrack for the Disney movie Lilo and Stitch, the remake, Burning Love at the very end. There, you will hear him and his trombonist, and his trombone, rather. Fantastic stuff. Congratulations once again, and thanks for all the hard work you do at the University of Memphis to inspire other students to do the same. We appreciate your time.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers, go. Absolutely.
Happy Monday out there to you. We're starting off on a dry note. We aren't going to be ending on a dry note. Temperatures today going to be starting in the 70s, ending in the middle 80s. Rain chances increasing, especially as we head into those afternoon and evening hours. So let me take you hour by hour as we head morning until about noon. I think mainly dry conditions are going to be prevailing across the Mid-South. Lots of clouds throughout your day ahead. Noon and on is when we start to see some of those storms come back up into the Mid-South, especially in places like North Mississippi into your early afternoon, making a northerly swing as they do into the evening as well for places like western Tennessee. I don't think everybody going to get in on a heavier pocket of rainfall today. They're going to be pretty scattered in nature, but again, if you do get under one of these, they could be heavy at times into your afternoon and early evening hours. Those should taper off overnight, and then we're going to be starting off with more showers and storms depending on where you are out there for your Tuesday morning. Places like northern Mississippi, especially northeast Mississippi, going to be seeing some heavier downpours out there for your Tuesday morning commute. Here's the good news. These showers are going to be tapering off throughout your day on Tuesday. So afternoon and evening hours, not as greater chances as they are today. Chances of rain into your work week ahead. Main 2 days that we're looking at are going to be today and then also out there for your Thursday. Not going to say you couldn't see a shower or two Tuesday and a Wednesday, but better chances remain today and Thursday. After Thursday, the good news is we're going to be seeing drier conditions prevailing in the Mid-South for your weekend ahead. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday looking good to go. Dry, but also pretty hot out there. Late week into your weekend, you can expect that summer heat to really ramp up. Saturday is our first official day of summer, and it is going to be feeling like that. Humidity increasing, feels like temperatures, you're looking at that right in the triple digits late week. Take a look at this. Your highs versus your Like temperatures on the top. Going to be feeling like the 90s today through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday feeling like the triple digits. It is going to be that typical summertime heat that we see here across the Mid-South coming into play this weekend. Would not be surprised if we see our first heat alerts of the season issued for this weekend as well. Going to be a hot one out there if you do have any plans outdoors. As for your 10-day forecast, again, rain chances still sticking around through your work week ahead. We're seeing temperatures in the middle 80s today, upper 80s to near 90 throughout the rest of your work week. Middle 90s return Saturday into Sunday. And again, those feels like temperatures pretty warm in the triple digits for the weekend ahead. We'll see the 90s stick around all the way into our last official full week of June.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. There are so many opportunities to go walk your dog, whether it's in a neighborhood, around your home, at dog parks. Now that it's spring and it's warming up, it feels amazing outside and it's the perfect time to walk your dog. The problem is when you see these kinds of things and you have your dog going to different areas, being social along with you, respiratory diseases increase as well. And that's why it's so important for pet owners to take proactive steps to keep their pets healthy during this time of year. Let's bring in someone to talk more about this topic. I'm joined now by Dr. Natalie Marks. She's with Merck Animal Health, joining us on the digital desk. Dr. Natalie Marks, good morning to you. Let's talk about what are some key things that pet owners should be mindful of so they can keep their dogs healthy and protected. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Well, respiratory disease season, as you mentioned, is ramping up for dogs, and we see that peaking between Memorial Day and Labor Day and spiking in July. That might surprise a lot of dog owners out there because for humans, of course, we think of respiratory disease really ramping in the fall and winter. That's why now is the perfect time to talk to your veterinarian about your dog's risk and vaccination options so we can keep them safe and protected from diseases like canine influenza, canine parainfluenza, and Bordetella bronchoseptica. And these are common respiratory illnesses that are transmitted dog to dog or through contaminated surfaces like toys, leashes, and water bowls, or even from secretions from other dogs coughing and sneezing. And we see them easily spread at daycares and kennels, but as you mentioned, just outside on neighborhood walks. So if you're planning travel for the spring break or summer and contemplating boarding your dog, or you're just getting outside more because it's finally getting nicer, so important to talk to your veterinarian about having your dog vaccinated to avoid the spread of these diseases.
So tell me about some of the symptoms with these diseases. There's several you just mentioned. Can you just talk about some of the symptoms and ways to safeguard your dog with these diseases?
Yeah, absolutely. So the big three I mentioned, canine influenza, which is dog flu, canine parainfluenza, Bordetella bronchoseptica. The good news is most of the time these diseases are mild. So we can see things like cough, runny nose, fever, lethargy, or loss of appetite. But that persistent cough is really uncomfortable for your dog. And in severe cases, some of these diseases can progress to pneumonia, which can be life-threatening.
That sounds terrible. So let's talk about where we can get some of the best advice to kind of safeguard and let all those pet owners know, hey, look, this is what you need to do in order to protect your dog.
Yeah, pet parents ask me all the time, how can I protect my dog as much as possible from respiratory disease? The answer is always prevention through vaccination. And two preventative vaccinations from Merck Animal Health that I love and strongly recommend are the Novivac Intratrac Oral BBPI and the Novivac Next Canine Flu H3N2. Let me tell you a little bit about both. So the oral BBPI has two components, BB, Bordetella bronchoseptica, and PI, the canine parainfluenza. These are the two most causative agents of a syndrome most dog owners have heard about, which is kennel cough. And I love this vaccine because it's super comfortable. It's administered orally through an immunomister applicator, and it just allows us to gently mist the back of your dog's throat or mouth. And the nice thing about this, it's a stress-free experience and it's can't miss coverage. The other is the canine flu vaccine, the Next Canine Flu H3N2. And this vaccine is low volume, preservative free. It optimizes protection for your dog against the most common canine influenza virus out there, which is H3N2, without compromising comfort or safety.
Natalie, where can we get more information about this? Is there a place online?
Absolutely. So if you want to learn more about the Novivac Intertrek Oral BBPI or the Novivac Next Canine Flu H3N2 or just vaccination options in general for your dog, visit merckanimalhealth.com. And don't forget, please visit your veterinarian and talk about your dog's individual risk and vaccination options so we can keep them as protected as possible this season.
Okay, Dr. Natalie Marks with Merck Animal Health. We appreciate your time on the digital desk. Very valuable information for so many people out there. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Well, believe it or not, the summer concert series happening at the Overton Park Shell is winding down, but there's still a lot of great live music that you can be a part of. Joining me now, talking with our friend Shelby Smith over at Overton Park Shell. Shelby, still a lot going on with the Overton Park Shell and the mobile shell on wheels. Good morning.
Yes, this is our second to last weekend of the Orion Free Concert Series. So while we're sad that things are kind of settling down over here, there's still plenty for people to enjoy between the concerts that we have at our historic music venue and where we'll be with Shell on Wheels. We're kicking everything off on Thursday, as always. We've got a lineup of fantastic shows coming at you. On Thursday, we've got Pell, which if you like PJ Morton or Doja Cat or Tank and the Bangas, he's actually been on tour with all of those artists, bringing his kind of blend of R&B and hip hop. So we're super stoked to have him down from New Orleans. And then on Friday, we'll be headed into the weekend with Alejandro Escoveda. And he is kind of a blend of country and punk rock and roll, cowpunk, if you know it as that genre. And during that show, we'll actually be leading an activation with our friends over at Project Green Fork. We are the first Tennessee Green certified music venue. And so we'll be doing a sustainability activation showing people how to distribute their trash or to separate those things out. So we're really leading the charge with those sustainability efforts at the Overton Park Shell. Super excited about that new partnership. And then closing out the weekend for the Orion Free Concert Series over here will be Lady Couch, which Americana, grassroots country. It's a duo, and we're super stoked to have them as well. But if you can't catch us here at the historic music venue, hopefully you can catch us on the road with Shell on Wheels, where we'll be leading two different activations. We've got the Juneteenth Heritage Festival in Douglas Park. Excited. I mean, obviously, Juneteenth is a fantastic way to honor the freedom of African Americans in the city that is a powerhouse when it comes to our African American culture. And then leading into, I believe, Saturday that day as well, we'll be doing an activation over at the Museum of Science and History. It is their Laser Live series featuring Luca. So that was a lot for people to digest, but like I said, we're rocking and rolling here at the Overton Park Shell, and we're just excited for people to come and join us.
You guys always stay very busy, Shelby. There's no question about it. You got concerts at the normal venue there. You got other concerts at the mobile Shell on Wheels. It's great to see you guys so active. How was last weekend? Did the rain kind of impact your schedule a little bit?
A little bit, we're at the helm of Mother Nature. It can get a little complicated over here, but luckily we have some outstanding venue partners that when they are open and available and they have staff that are equipped with our needs for not only our bands, but our patrons that want to join for the show, they open their doors to us and we are so grateful. So we were able to save one of our shows and it was fantastic. Thanks to Growlers and Memphis Presents and Diddy TV. We were able to get Eddie 9V over there very quickly as the rain was coming down. So once again, we're just thankful for the patience and the understanding from our patrons, but also these partnerships from our venue partners. They are so valuable, especially when we're at the helm of Mother Nature. It's been an abnormally wet season, but we do what we can to make sure that we're able to pivot as best as we possibly can.
I'm no meteorologist, Shelby, but I understand that it's going to be a little bit drier this next few days, especially this weekend. So hopefully you guys will be A-OK with all the different events you have going on. And, I would just was wondering if there might be a great website that people can get all this information that you mentioned about all the different things you got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find all of this information for the concerts here and wherever we're going to be with Shell on Wheels this season at overtonparkshell.org. But we also have a Facebook, we have an Instagram, and we send out a newsletter once a week via MailChimp. And so if you're not subscribed, you can definitely subscribe to get that information straight into your inbox so you'll know where to be and when to be there.
Perfect. And one other thing, I know this is kind of winding down the spring and summer season, but you guys crank it up again in the fall. Is that right?
Absolutely. And that fall series lineup is going to be announced July 7th. So definitely be on the look for that. And we're also in partnership with WYXR, where we'll be doing a special programming slot for people to get kind of an idea of the artists that we're bringing during the fall season. So you'll be able to tune into that via WYXR 91.7 FM and listen to the sounds of the fall season. And also reminder, we have two different Shell fundraising shows featuring Big Crit and Kingfish. And so those are also things that you can look forward to. And all of our fundraising shows empower the opportunity for free music to continue here at the Overton Park Shell. So lots to tune into, lots of information to digest. But again, overtonparkshell.org is where you can figure out all of that information and be ready for another great season of music.
Can't wait for that, Shelby Smith. Thank you so much for coming on the digital desk, spelling it out for all of us, all those great activities, great concerts, great events coming to Memphis and the Mid-South. We appreciate your time as always.
See y'all soon.
Okay, sounds good. All right, another live look from our High Five camera in Midtown Memphis as we go to break here. Some clouds out there, certainly, and we're expecting some showers. We got a forecast coming up in 1 minute.
Happy Monday out there to you. We're starting off on a dry note. We aren't going to be ending on a dry note. Temperatures today going to be starting in the 70s, ending in the middle 80s. Rain chances increasing, especially as we head into those afternoon and evening hours. So let me take you hour by hour as we head morning until about noon. I think mainly dry conditions are going to be prevailing across the Mid-South. Lots of clouds throughout your day ahead. Noon and on is when we start to see some of those storms come back up into the Mid-South, especially in places like North Mississippi into your early afternoon, making a northerly swing as they do into the evening as well for places like western Tennessee. I don't think everybody going to get in on a heavier pocket of rainfall today. They're going to be pretty scattered in nature, but again, if you do get under one of these, they could be heavy at times into your afternoon and early evening hours. Those should taper off overnight, and then we're going to be starting off with more showers and storms depending on where you are out there for your Tuesday morning. Places like northern Mississippi, especially northeast Mississippi, going to be seeing some heavier downpours out there for your Tuesday morning commute. Here's the good news. These showers are going to be tapering off throughout your day on Tuesday. So afternoon and evening hours, not as greater chances as they are today. Chances of rain into your work week ahead. Main 2 days that we're looking at are going to be today and then also out there for your Thursday. Not going to say you couldn't see a shower or two Tuesday and a Wednesday, but better chances remain today and Thursday. After Thursday, the good news is we're going to be seeing drier conditions prevailing in the Mid-South for your weekend ahead. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday looking good to go. Dry, but also pretty hot out there. Late week into your weekend, you can expect that summer heat to really ramp up. Saturday is our first official day of summer, and it is going to be feeling like that. Humidity increasing, feels like temperatures, you're looking at that right in the triple digits late week. Take a look at this, your highs versus your like temperatures on the top. Going to be feeling like the 90s today through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday feeling like the triple digits. It is going to be that typical summertime heat that we see here across the Mid-South coming into play this weekend. Would not be surprised if we see our first heat alerts of the season issued for this weekend as well. Going to be a hot one out there if you do have any plans outdoors. As for your 10-day forecast, again, rain chances still sticking around through your work week ahead. We're seeing temperatures in the middle 80s today, upper 80s to near 90 throughout the rest of your work week. Middle 90s return Saturday into Sunday. And again, those feels like temperatures pretty warm in the triple digits for the weekend ahead. We'll see the 90s stick around all the way into our last official full week of June.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. There is a new competition that is on NBC right now. It's called Destination X, and it is a bold travel competition. And a lot of those contestants are asking, where the X are we, among other things. And I want to learn more about this competition that began about a month ago on NBC. And joining me now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, one of the contestants, Peter Weber, to talk more about this show and more about what viewers can expect. Peter, good morning to you. So tell me a little bit about what you're involved in. Good morning.
Yeah, no, this was truly just the adventure of a lifetime, the ultimate game board, being able to just have a guessing game of where in the X are you, like you said, and just an incredible opportunity to kind of put your skills to the test. You know, for me, I think specifically it was such an awesome opportunity to go into just with the nature of my career and being a pilot and the passion I have for travel. Being able to be a part of an experience like this was just the coolest thing I've ever done in my entire life, and I can't wait for everyone to watch the entire journey. Just so many awe moments, and it was truly special, and I'll never forget it.
So let me ask you this, Peter, because you know, on another network there is something called The Amazing Race, which is almost a travel competition as well. Get us into this competition. Is it similar? Is it different? What are the differences and perhaps the similarities?
It's very different. You know, what's crazy too, and I think a lot of the players, we're all looking really forward to rewatching this back, is we really only saw maybe, you know, 10, 15, 20% of the entire, what everyone's going to see. We saw such a limited portion, and it's, you know, depriving you of your senses. And that's what makes it such a unique show and something that's never been done before. You know, being able to see such limited things and never truly knowing if what you're seeing is accurate, if it's a red herring, that was just through a huge wrench in everything. It made it so much more difficult, being able to trust people. And it has the whole gameplay aspect of, you know, betrayal, of alliances, of really just trusting your gut. And that could be a make or break for you, you know, either continuing on to the next week or going home. So I think that, you know, similarities, yeah, being able to travel the world and see a lot of incredible spots, but the competition aspect is brand new. It's never been done before. And it's just super unique, and it's just really just testing and an insane experience.
I know that you're limited on what you can say, but Peter, if you can you break down a little bit of the rules or how this competition is played out on TV?
Yeah, so essentially, every week we're going to be traveling in a bus, and this bus is fogged out, so all the windows you can't see outside. And so you're in close quarters, you're with your competition day in and day out, you're sleeping on the bus. And every city you get to, you're going to be partaking in certain challenges. And these challenges, if you win them, are going to be huge because they're going to offer you information and give you clues to understand possibly where you are. But again, those clues may not always be accurate. And so that's part of the fun of the game, is trying to really decipher what is true, what's not. The alliance building is huge in this game. And, you try to, at the end of every single week, you're going to be placing your X. You go to the map room if you're selected to go to the map room. And the person that has their X furthest away from the correct location of where you actually are in the world at that point, unfortunately gets sent home. And you try to make it to the very end for, a shot at the grand prize and the title. And just, the ultimate competition show. It's really cool, I think, for the viewers too. They're going to be able to guess along too as well, and truly play this game as if you were actually playing it in real life. But it's got everything. It's got the social aspect, the competitive aspect, the challenge aspect, and a lot of twists and turns, a little bit of luck, and just the most epically shot show I think I've ever seen.
What's the grand prize?
$250,000. So that's obviously an incredible amount of money. So that'd be incredible to win that. But I think even more than that, just the pride of being able to, season one, be able to win Destination X. That would be, I think that's the ultimate prize. But yeah, a big sum of money as well.
So tell our viewers how we can watch Destination X.
So Destination X, it's going to be airing on NBC on Tuesday nights, and then after that, it's going to be on Peacock, available for streaming. So yeah, be tuning in every Tuesday night, and after you can't catch that, you got it on Peacock.
Anything that surprised you that you're allowed to tell us with regards to this? You mentioned how many people are involved in this? Contestants?
So it started out with 10, and then I believe 2 have already been eliminated, and then Janae and we join in the next city that's coming up, do a little bit of a twist, throw like a wrench in the plans for I think everyone involved. So now we're back up to 10, and yeah, there can only be one winner at the end. Again, with that, it's very crucial to be working along with other people because you can't win it by yourself. And so that's also creates a really interesting dynamic too of, if you were to make it far in this game, of when do you split that? And there's obviously a lot of trust, but eventually the nature of the game, there has to be a little bit of betrayal too. So it's very lots of ups and downs and twists, and yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch.
Absolutely. Peter Weber, contestant on NBC's Destination X, a brand new reality competition that focuses on travel, and the grand prize, $250,000. You can see it on Tuesday nights on NBC and then Peacock streaming afterwards. Peter, thanks for coming on the Digital Desk. Best of luck to you in this competition. We appreciate your time. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Well, we have a treat for you. I am being joined by someone who is currently in the Wicked play right now. Glinda, she plays. She's also done a number of different off-Broadway shows, national tours, TV appearances. We are talking about a superstar here. Joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, actor Laura Wyaz. on the digital desk talking about a show that's coming to the Orpheum Theater where she is going to be the main event. Laura, good morning to you. How are things?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait to be there.
We can't wait to have you. So first off, tell us a little bit about yourself. You have this incredible storied career here where you've, done this great magical tour here. You've been on Broadway currently, you're off Broadway, you did TV shows, all kinds of appearances. Tell us a little bit about your background, where are you from, how you got started.
Sure, yeah. I'm originally from the Hartford, Connecticut area. And I always just sort of secretly loved singing and dancing. I was sort of shy though. And in high school, I joined the chorus and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I decided to go to college. I went to college in Winchester, Virginia at Shenandoah University. And then kind of right out of school, I started touring and I toured for a while and just kept building my resume and meeting people and doing off-Broadway shows and it's just been a wonderful diverse you sort of piecemeal everything together, right? You'll do a concert. I've done symphony orchestras. I've toured with Kenny Rogers, which was amazing. I'm currently in Kimberly Akimbo touring again. I've done Broadway, off Broadway, some film. It's all just a very crafted career, which I like. It's always different, always changing. You have to be able to adapt and pivot to certain things. So yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle for sure.
That sounds amazing. I love it. I love hearing about it. It gives all of us people who are, especially we have thousands of people who watch, aspiring actors and actresses, the hope of just, making it big. And certainly you've done this. I want to talk a little bit about what's bringing you here to Memphis at the Orpheum in downtown. Kimberly Akimbo, tell me about that story and how you got involved.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm so excited to come to Memphis. So I saw the show only one time and I was like, it impacted me so greatly. And that's the type of work as I get older that I like to do. I mean, I'm sure, I love doing funny, fluffy things, and this is very funny, but it impacted me so greatly that I thought it was important and the message is important. And I was like, I need to be a part of this show. It's so hilarious and it's heartbreaking and it's at the end, it's very hopeful. So it's this family in New Jersey in the 1990s before cell phones. And I played the mom, Patty, and my daughter, Kimberly, has a rare genetic disorder where she ages 4 to 5 times faster than, the average person. So in the show, she's 16, but she's played by an actress who's much older, which I also love. So she looks different, right? And she's in this new town. They had to move to Lodi, New Jersey. She doesn't quite know why. Her parents are dysfunctional. I'm sort of a narcissist, a little bit of a hypochondriac. Dad is a little wacky. She has a crazy Aunt Deborah. She's navigating all these things, going to a new school, her first crush, all while looking, not like the average teen. And it's really such a well-crafted story. It was a play first, and then they put music to it, and it's a genius show. So yeah, that's kind of been my journey. I auditioned first for the understudy, and they were like, well, you're not really right for the understudy, but they'll keep you on file. And then, through a process of auditions, I ended up getting the part. So not the understudy, but the part.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. And this is going to be June 24th through 29th at the Orpheum in downtown Memphis. A lot of people may be thinking about ways to get involved in theater more often, and certainly we have some talent here all across Memphis. What would be the best advice for some of those aspiring actors and actresses out there that you'd give?
Well, I'll say this, you never know where your next job is going to come from. I got my equity card in a very strange way. I was doing a children's theater show, which, obviously nobody was coming to. We were playing in cafeterias. I was playing a mouse. And then, I was kind and I always, try to have a positive attitude and a good work ethic. And then a year later, my friend, called me up and he had done a Broadway show and he said somebody's leaving and I think you'd be great for it. And he passed my name along to the director. I didn't have an agent. And, you know, well, lo and behold, I ended up getting it. So you never know where your next job is going to come from. So I guess my point is, you know, just keep working however you can and have a good attitude and be kind to the people that you work with, because, you know, you may not be even the most talented person, but if you're great to work with, people will want to work with you. And then they'll recommend you for this thing, and then that'll snowball to the next thing. And that's kind of how these things happen. So just, you know, keep doing it no matter how big or small it is. If you love it, I think good things will happen if you stay with it.
That's great advice. I mean, hard work always pays off, and treat others the way you want to be treated, right? It's not that hard.
Yeah, it's really not. Really not.
I mean, seriously, that's great stuff. All right, so anything else you want to say to the audience members, to the people, if they come by and they check out Kimberly Akimbo later this month, what would you tell them?
I would tell them the ice skating is real. We really ice skate. A lot of people think it's a trick. Even when I saw it on Broadway, I said, "Oh, those are little wheels," but they're not. And I didn't know until I had my costume fitting. They said, "Oh, we need to fit you for ice skates, and you have to have ice skate practice." And I was like, "What?" So we're really ice skating, first of all, which I think is just, you know, a phenomenal, you know, thing to be able to do on a Broadway stage. And yeah, just come with an open heart and ready for a good time, and maybe bring some tissues. There are some parts that will get you, but it's at the end of the show, it's like you just leave with this hopeful message, you know. Do the thing, call the person, say what's on your mind, take the vacation. It's a very like empowering human story. So hope you enjoy it.
Awesome. Laura Wyaz joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Congratulations on such a successful career and what you're doing. Thank you for the advice for all of those aspiring actors and actresses out there across Memphis and the Mid-South. And good luck on this tour. And Kimberly Akimbo, June 24th through the 29th at the Orpheum. We appreciate your time, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We are always looking for ways to reduce our stress in our crazy busy lives. Everyone's so busy right now. We have a lot of stress, whether it's work, whether it's home, family life, who knows? We all have it. And practicing mindfulness, well, that's one way to reduce stress. On the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I am joined right now by Allie Parker. She is a yoga instructor and a studio leader at Lifetime Fitness in Collierville. Allie, so glad you joined us here. So tell me about mindfulness, practicing mindfulness, and how it can help all of us reduce stress in our lives, because we really need to reduce that stress. Good morning.
Good morning. And isn't that an understatement? We are all so busy, so stressed, so much going on in our day-to-day lives that it's important to practice mindfulness. And mindfulness for some people immediately calls to mind this picture of meditation, and you just sort of picture like a yogi in a silent room on a cushion, canceling all their thoughts. But mindfulness is something that we can practice every day. It's as simple as being aware of the present moment, noticing your thoughts without judgment, and just carving out time in your day to be in whatever moment that you're in right then and there.
Okay, I love it. So let's for our audience, we have thousands of people who watch each and every morning, Allie. Let's talk about ways that people can just do this wherever they are, whether they're at work, at home, maybe waiting in the doctor's office, what have you.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my favorite things is to pick up something that you do every day. Brushing your teeth, waiting in the school pickup line, something that you're going to do on a recurring basis, and let that be your reminder to practice mindfulness. And mindfulness is as simple as stopping, taking a breath, observing, noticing what's going on, and then proceeding, moving forward with more awareness of the present moment. So one of my favorite things to do is just when I'm sitting at my desk at work is take a moment, kind of drop what I'm doing, notice how my feet feel in my shoes, notice the temperature of the air on my skin, take a moment and take a few deep breaths. Notice how my breath feels traveling in through my nose and how it feels leaving my body. And then just doing a full body scan and noticing what changed after practicing a few moments of mindfulness and awareness.
I like that. It seems pretty simple. And tell me about how doing that for a few minutes each and every day, how that can reduce stress.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. There are so many studies out there and more coming out each and every day that talk about how mindfulness can actually rewire our brains. So there's a study from the National Institute of Health that shows that practicing mindfulness and meditation can actually help with the areas of our mind that are responsible for processing emotions and retaining memory. So there are some really proven benefits to taking this time, carving it out in your day. It's also been noted in various studies that practicing mindfulness for as few as 5 minutes a day can help reduce perceived stress by 40%, which is a pretty staggering statistic. I would take a 40% reduction in stress any day. So definitely super simple to take 5 minutes of your day. And fortunately, there are so many resources nowadays to practice, especially with May being Mental Health Awareness Month. There are so many platforms that are offering ways to practice meditation, one of which is the Lifetime digital app. It's free to members and non-members. I just did mine this morning. I love to do it when I'm waiting for school pickup line. It's a great one to just plug in during your day. And like I said, it's just 5 minutes. Some of them are moving meditations where we're getting you moving with your breath. Some are more still where you can practice them seated in a waiting room, like you mentioned, and you're just noticing your breath work and tapping into your physical body. So lots of different variations that you can take. Also, some of my favorites are walking meditations. I know the weather's finally getting nice enough to get back outside and walk. So put on a walking meditation from the Lifetime digital app next time you go and let me know how it goes.
I love everything that you're saying. It sounds fantastic. It sounds great. What about meditation? A lot of people might be intimidated to try it. They think, oh, well, I can't sit still for more than a minute without like thinking about everything, and my mind freaks out and it's going a million miles an hour. How do we get to the point where we can practice meditation, Allie?
Yeah, and honestly, the people who are having a mile a minute thoughts or feel like I'm not a good candidate for meditation because I can't sit still, you're the perfect candidate for meditation. So meditation is a practice of noticing. I always tell my students, it's not the absence of thought, it's noticing the thought. So a great analogy that I had a teacher once explain to me is imagine sitting sort of behind a waterfall and let your thoughts just be the water that falls right in front of you. So you're noticing them, you're seeing them, but you're not attaching yourselves to them. Or if you are, you just sort of label it like, okay, I just thought about my grocery list. Let's bring it back to where I am right now. And one of the easiest ways to bring yourself back to the present moment is taking a deep, slow, intentional breath and just saying to yourself, inhale, exhale. And repeating that a few times. And again, it's so natural for all of us when we're practicing meditation, even those of us who practice daily, to have moments where our mind wanders. It's important to give ourselves grace and practice without judgment so that we can call ourselves back to the present moment and say, okay, I went and thought about what I have to do later today. Let me call myself back to where I am right now with my breath. Inhale through my nose, exhale slowly through my mouth, something like that. We can bring you right back. And it's easy to just take a moment, label the thought, and move forward.
I love the waterfall. That allegory sounds great. I mean, it's a great analogy, and I'm going to try that after we're done here.
Amazing, love it.
Yes, absolutely. Final thoughts. I mean, is there a place where people can go online and maybe kind of learn more about this, practicing meditation, mindfulness, reducing stress through these kind of different techniques?
Absolutely. As I previously mentioned, the Lifetime digital app is totally free to members and non-members. So if you're not a member of Lifetime, don't feel like you still can't download that app from the App Store, log in, and then within there, we have a challenge going on during May. It's to practice meditation every day, and it's literally just 5 minutes. So once you log into the app, one of the first things that you'll see is that practice for mindfulness. I would encourage you guys to drill into that, check it out, and beyond May, this will be available, again, free to members and non-members for you to check it out. They've got various different types and lengths of meditation. So once you get more comfortable with 5 minutes, you might bump up to 10 minutes on a day that you have a little bit more time and see how your mind reacts to a little bit more space and intentionality in those times. We also have classes here during the month of May at Lifetime. So if you're interested in trying out a class, all of our instructors are incorporating 5 minutes of mindfulness at the end of class. So if you want to just kind of get your toes wet, see what it's about, see like, can I really do it? A great way to practice is, first of all, to get out of your mind and into your body by doing some physical exercise, coming to a class, and then we'll wrap up the class with 5 minutes of intentional meditation or mindfulness. And I think that you'll find it's a lot less daunting than you think it is.
Allie Parker, Lifetime Fitness yoga studio leader in Collierville. Thank you so much. This was excellent. Lots of information, chock full there. We appreciate your time on the digital desk. Thank you. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I am sure you saw this announcement live at the Garden and the concerts coming our way this summer. Let's bring in Olivia Wall. She's Director of Marketing and Communications for Memphis Botanic Garden. Quite a lineup this year, Olivia. Good morning. How are things?
Good morning. We are live from the concert lawn here, so super excited to be talking to you about our wonderful lineup we have for this summer.
Yeah, it looks great. So take me through it. How is it? How do you guys get these concerts, and what goes into creating a lineup like this?
Yeah, absolutely. Our live team works year-round to ensure that every summer we offer epic concerts under the stars at the Radiance Amphitheater. We love what we do, and so we, work together and try to secure a lineup that is great for Memphis and for all of our wonderful concert goers.
Yeah, I see it here. So we got June 21st, Third Eye Blind. We have July 18th, Parker McCullen. August 23rd, Darius Rucker. September 6th, ZZ Top. And then you finish out the season September 19th, Steve Miller Band. Tell me, I know you're looking forward to every single concert, but tell me one of those that really you have your eye on.
I mean, I'm, a little bit more alt in my music choices, so I'm super excited about kicking off the season with Third Eye Blind. They're going to be joined by special guests. Their support act is Joy Bomb, who is a local band here, so we're super excited about that. I'm inviting some local Memphis talent onto the stage as well for that concert. I mean, Parker McCollum, he's wonderful. It's going to be a great show to really hit that mid-July. Darius Rucker, super favorite of Live at the Garden in Memphis. Who doesn't love Darius Rucker? And obviously, you can't go wrong with really, rounding out the season with just like classic rock superstars, ZZ Top and Steve Miller Band.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I've seen both of them. In fact, I saw Steve Miller a number of years ago live at the Garden, and they brought up, I believe, some of the Stax Music Academy Yeah, artists. It was fantastic. It was a great, great show, and certainly enjoyed it. And what a great venue the Botanic Garden is to see some of these shows outside. Can you talk about all the different aspects that go into seeing a show there? I mean, you can bring your food, you can bring your drink, all that stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what's wonderful and unique about the Radiance Amphitheater at the Memphis Botanic Garden is we want you to come and enjoy a night out. We want it to be an experience and a memory for you to have forever. So we invite folks to bring their own chairs, bring picnics, bring coolers, set up, find a great spot on the lawn, and enjoy the evening. Yeah, and there's a great, band and music happening, but it's also a really good opportunity to get with your community and just enjoy a wonderful nature under a tree canopy just alongside Audubon Lake.
So tell me how much tickets are and how people can get a hold of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we still have our season passes online. So that means you get a ticket to every single show. And those are $340 starting at $345. Plus fees, and then individual lawn shows, maybe you have some conflict with dates, starts at $70 for our individual lawn tickets. And those are all available via Ticketmaster.com. And I'd be remiss if I did not say how wonderful, and we could not do it without our wonderful sponsors, including title sponsor Regents Bank, legacy sponsor Duncan Williams Asset Management, and our presenting sponsors AutoZone, FedEx, Gossett Motor Cars, True Green, Mahaffey, Pro Show Systems, and the Lilly Company.
Wonderful. Olivia, it looks like a great season to embark upon at Memphis Botanic Garden, live at the Garden. There it is, an amazing lineup this year. Certainly a ton of fun no matter who's playing there at Memphis Botanic Garden. Olivia, thanks so much for joining us on the digital desk. We appreciate it.
Happy Monday out there to you. We're starting off on a dry note. We aren't going to be ending on a dry note. Temperatures today going to be starting in the 70s, ending in the middle 80s. Rain chances increasing, especially as we head into those afternoon and evening hours. So let me take you hour by hour as we head morning until about noon. I think mainly dry conditions are going to be prevailing across the Mid-South. Lots of clouds throughout your day ahead. Noon and on is when we start to see some of those storms come back up into the Mid-South, especially in places like North Mississippi into your early afternoon, making a northerly swing as they do into the evening as well for places like western Tennessee. I don't think everybody going to get in on a heavier pocket of rainfall today. They're going to be pretty scattered in nature, but again, if you do get under one of these, they could be heavy at times into your afternoon and early evening hours. Those should taper off overnight, and then we're going to be starting off with more showers and storms depending on where you are out there for your Tuesday morning. Places like northern Mississippi, especially northeast Mississippi, going to be seeing some heavier downpours out there for your Tuesday morning commute. Here's the good news. These showers are going to be tapering off throughout your day on Tuesday. So afternoon and evening hours, not as greater chances as they are today. Chances of rain into your work week ahead. Main 2 days that we're looking at are going to be today and then also out there for your Thursday. Not going to say you couldn't see a shower or two Tuesday and a Wednesday, but better chances remain today and Thursday. After Thursday, the good news is we're going to be seeing drier conditions prevailing in the Mid-South for your weekend ahead. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday looking good to go. Dry, but also pretty hot out there. Late week into your weekend, you can expect that summer heat to really ramp up. Saturday is our first official day of summer, and it is going to be feeling like that. Humidity increasing, feels like temperatures, you're looking at that right in the triple digits late week. Take a look at this, your highs versus your Like temperatures on the top. Going to be feeling like the 90s today through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday feeling like the triple digits. It is going to be that typical summertime heat that we see here across the Mid-South coming into play this weekend. Would not be surprised if we see our first heat alerts of the season issued for this weekend as well. Going to be a hot one out there if you do have any plans outdoors. As for your 10-day forecast, again, rain chances still sticking around through your work week ahead. We're seeing temperatures in the middle 80s today, upper 80s to near 90 throughout the rest of your work week. Middle 90s return Saturday into Sunday. And again, those feels like temperatures pretty warm in the triple digits for the weekend ahead. We'll see the 90s stick around all the way into our last official full week of June.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. If you're like me, you are always trying to figure out a better way to get a better night's sleep. It's so elusive for so many of us. We are so busy. Our lives are just chock full of all kinds of busyness with work and various activities outside of work. So it is so important to get that sleep for so many health benefits. So how do we do it? Not next week, not this weekend, tonight. How are we going to do it? Well, let's bring on someone who's an expert in sleep. I am joined right now by Prahad Sharma. He is a pulmonologist. He's also a sleep physician at Regional One Health. He leads a sleep clinic at the hospital, and he's joining us right now on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Prahad, thank you for joining us here. Where do people first off make their biggest mistakes when it comes to trying to find a way to get some good rest out there? Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
Where do people make the biggest mistakes?
So I think there's a lot of things that we could do. It's not the mistake that we make, but it's basically that we don't know that all those small things matter. As for everything else, preparation is the key for the sleep. So if you prepare yourself well, then you may have a good night's sleep. But if your preparation is not that good, then the sleep may not be that great. And what we talk about that is what you do throughout the day, what you eat throughout the day, how you spend your day, what happens throughout your day doesn't matter your sleep. At the same time, how you sleep, when you sleep, and what environment you sleep in also affects your sleep.
What's the biggest factor in getting a good night's rest? If you had to name it, I know there's several, okay, but if you had to name the biggest factor in getting a good night's rest, what is it?
So first thing is, I think you need to prepare yourself, as we said earlier, that have a relaxing environment, calm down, what we call the wind down time. And when you go to the bed itself, you have to stick on a schedule, because things work better if you stick to a strict schedule. And sometimes it's difficult over the weekend. What is more important at that time is you try to fix your wake up time, because you can control that. So if you remain on that rhythm, what we call the circadian rhythm, then your sleep is better. And when you go lie down on the bed, make it dark, quiet, cool, and comfortable so that you can sleep well without having any external disturbances to you. No TV, no cell phone, no blue light, nothing in the bedroom.
What's the ideal amount of sleep? Sometimes people get too much, sometimes people get too little. What's ideal?
Everyone has their own requirement. Few people need a little bit more. Few people may be okay even on the less amount of sleep. So anywhere about 6 to 8 hours may be normal for most of the people. There are few people who may function okay when they sleep 4 to 6 hours. We call them short sleepers. So that maybe few people who may be sleeping 4 or 5 hours may still be okay. But if you are sleeping more than 8-10 hours, then again, that is abnormal. You should not be requiring that much of sleep. But all of those things change it with age and time.
I know a lot of people have sleep apnea. It's a pretty common condition out there. Can you briefly explain some of the issues associated with that and the best remedies from your perspective?
Yes. So as you said, yes, sleep apnea is very common, and 1 in 5 male and about 1 in 6 or 7 female will have sleep apnea. But a lot of them goes undiagnosed or underdiagnosed because people don't realize the symptoms they are having may be coming from sleep apnea. So few of the symptoms are people may just have mild difficulty kind of thinking, brain fogging or something like that, or they may also have early morning headache which goes away after a few hours, or they feel a little bit irritable throughout the day, maybe a little bit sleepy during the day. So all those may be just a telltale sign of sleep apnea, but if they go unnoticed for a long time, then you run into other problems.
Okay, we know that so many people are looking at screens, and we know that perhaps people's diet isn't the greatest when it comes to winding down, as you mentioned earlier, to get that good night's sleep, that good night's rest. What are some of the key takeaways? If you had to make a bullet list of maybe 3 or 4 different things you can do right now, tonight, to have that great night's sleep, what would you do?
Okay. Again, I will say wind down time is very important. So that's when you reflect on some people who likes to write, may even do journaling or something so that they can vent out their feeling so that they can go to the bed relaxed. And reading books, doing something very quiet, and not too exciting, not too entertaining helps. And also another thing is smoking and alcohol intake, because a lot of people think like maybe if they drink maybe a couple of glasses of wine or drink, they may feel sleepy and they may sleep better, but it works the other way, meaning your good quality sleep is taken away and you wake up not feeling rested, feeling tired, because the very important part of the sleep called the REM sleep is taken away. At the same time, if you smoke before bedtime, that is a stimulant and that will not let you fall asleep quickly and causes more problems. So preparing the right environment, not drinking too much before the bedtime, not smoking, and having a very comfortable bed is the key to have a good sleep.
Right. Also, a cool bedroom, right? I mean, you want to make the temperatures.
Yes, cool bedroom, very comfortable. Yeah, it may be worth investing in finding a very comfortable mattress for you.
Excellent. Okay, one other thing, there's a lot of sleep aids out there. Some people might take melatonin, some people might take an Ambien, some people will have a gummy, a CBD or something. What do you think of those 3, and do you recommend a sleep aid?
So it depends what is driving the problem. So because if it is sleep apnea, which is one of the most common problem, then those aids may not help. Because if it is sleep apnea, then we have to diagnose with the sleep study and treat you for that particular problem. But other problems, let's say people cannot fall asleep because there is misalignment with the time and everything, then on those people, melatonin may help. And the pills like Ambien, that is more for the problem, what we call insomnia. And for that one, people have difficulty initiating sleep, and Ambien may help, but that is not the best medication, because a lot of the time trying to find what is causing the problem and attacking or solving the underlying problem is the best modality.
Okay, Prahad Sharma, we appreciate your time on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Very informative, and it's something that I think so many Americans struggle with, getting a better night's sleep. And hopefully, people have been taking notes and really kind of thinking about a better night's sleep tonight through some of your recommendations. So we appreciate your time on the Digital Desk. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. More Americans than ever are expected to reach retirement age this year. And according to the latest Fidelity Investments State of Retirement Planning Study, many understandably are a little concerned about, in fact, pulling the trigger and retiring. Here to discuss what we need to know if we are looking at retirement this year or perhaps in the future, not too distant future. I'm joined now by Sham Gaglani. He is joining us on the Digital Desk. He is a retirement distributions leader at Fidelity. Sham, good morning to you. So what did a new study find about how today's retirees are planning for their retirement? Are they concerned? Are they worried that they need to get out of retirement and go back into the workforce? Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Most retirees are quite positive about their present financial situation, with over 70% saying retirement is going as planned, and even more say it's been more enjoyable than they expected. That said, our study also finds that some have been slightly caught off guard by the rising cost of living and high cost of healthcare.
I totally get that. Healthcare is certainly something that I hear all the time about people being concerned once they retire, if they are not 65, that gap between retirement and 65. So how are Americans planning retirement, and is it something that they may need to adjust, or is the planning just A-okay the way it's going right now?
Well, nearly 2/3 of respondents in their planning years have a positive outlook on their upcoming retirement. This is down 7% from last year, which is due in part to the impact of the rising cost of living. Gen X is at the forefront of this drop in confidence, with only 53% feeling like they'll be able to retire on their own terms. This comes as a record number of Americans are expected to reach traditional retirement age in 2025. So that lower confidence about retirement from Gen X can really be traced back to the fact that many are facing preparing for retirement, continuing to care for their children, and aging parents all at once.
Okay, so the natural question there, Sham, is how do you get more prepared? How do you get more confident to say, okay, I'm going to retire at this point in the next, 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think most important is having a plan in place is crucial. It's also really important to stick with your plan. So our study found that 92% of Americans feel that financial planning doesn't end when retirement begins. So ideally, you should have a diversified income plan where essential expenses are covered by guaranteed income sources that keep up with the cost of or with inflation. So we're talking about Social Security and annuities where you're turning part of your savings into a reliable income stream that you'll have throughout retirement. When it comes to discretionary expenses, you should really look to cover those from savings or investment income. So if you need to cut back, this is a place to do it, but you'll still be able to cover day-to-day living expenses. It's also very important to maintain a reasonable asset withdrawal rate. So we recommend targeting an average asset withdrawal rate between 4 and 5% a year. And finally, one of the largest expenses in retirement is healthcare, with a 65-year-old needing $165,000 to cover healthcare costs throughout retirement. It's important for a pre-retiree to have a plan that accounts for how they'll cover future healthcare expenses, So understanding your Medicare strategy and potential expenses related to long-term care can really help gain an understanding of additional healthcare costs that you'll look to include and need to include in your retirement income plan.
So, Sham, let me press a little bit on that. I mean, what are you telling your customers? What are you telling the people that you deal with, when it comes to healthcare costs and planning for retirement?
I think one of the most important things for anyone at any stage of planning to keep in mind is the sooner you start saving, the better off that you'll be. So take advantage of time. The more you save and the sooner you save, the better off you'll be when it comes time to put a retirement plan together and be able to fund the retirement that you want to have and retire when you're ready to retire.
Anything else we want to mention about retirement and how things have changed? It sounds like the formula for the most part is essentially the same. I mean, diversify investments, that sort of thing. Anything else that we can talk about with regards to retirement now?
Well, there are definitely some differences between today's retirees and retirees that are coming up. One distinct difference between the groups is today's retirees are the last to report in large numbers that predictable income sources like pensions are going to be the primary way that they'll fund their retirement, whereas 6 in 10 Americans in their planning years say the biggest income streams that they'll have will come from their IRAs and 401ks or other workplace plans. So only about half of retirees are saying the same thing about their IRAs and workplace plans today. I think the good news here is recent Fidelity data shows retirement savers are building good habits, and they're saving in IRAs and workplace plans at a rate that's close to Fidelity's recommended 15% per year.
Okay, Sham Gaglani, we appreciate you and everybody at Fidelity Investments for helping us out with this conversation. Thank you. Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Have you ever been to the World War II Museum in New Orleans? If you haven't, you are missing out on an American treasure. I went there with my family a number of years ago, and I was blown away at how comprehensive, how amazing this museum is. I think it's one of the best in the country. And joining me now to talk more about this museum and what's being offered as we approach the D-Day anniversary, the 81st D-Day anniversary, is retired Army Colonel Peter Crane. He is Vice President of Education and Access at the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. I appreciate you joining us, Peter. Thank you so much for coming on the digital desk. So first off, tell me how the World War II Museum began there in Memphis for our audience. I know it started as the National D-Day Museum, but give me just a quick little history lesson, if you will. Good morning.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Andrew. I really appreciate the opportunity. Yes, we started out as the D-Day Museum 25 years ago as a single building museum that focused on the battle, D-Day and the battle in Normandy, but wound up growing to the National World War II Museum to a campus of over 7 acres and 7 different pavilions to tell that big story that you were talking about.
Yeah, it is certainly, it's so comprehensive, and I loved it just from a parental perspective. With my kids who were little at the time, they were just, it was overwhelming. But it was so enjoyable, and I felt like I couldn't see the whole museum in the afternoon that I went there. I mean, I wanted to spend the entire day. I mean, just looking at the aircraft is incredible. So listen, tell me a little bit about the history of why it's in New Orleans and what to expect if people want to go, not only this week, but later this summer.
Well, we're in New Orleans for really a great reason, and that is American industrialist Andrew Jackson Higgins. He made what was called the Higgins boats. If you saw the movie Saving Private Ryan, in that very first scene, you see the guys coming ashore on those small wooden landing craft. Every one of those was made right here in New Orleans. Higgins Industries made more than 20,000 of them during the war. And so that's the main reason why we're here. But we've been telling the story of World War II from the very beginning through individual stories, personal accounts of those who fought the war. And we take an immersive approach. So like you were talking about, you can see the planes, you can see the artifacts and get a feeling for what it was like.
No question about it. So, so here we are. It has grown so much over the last 25 years. It is still very much a part of any kind of history lesson or visit for visitors down there in New Orleans. What would you want to say to the people of Memphis, the thousands of people we have watching us here on the digital desk, about not only this museum, but making sure you carve out some time to go see it if you are traveling to New Orleans, which, by the way, many Memphians do?
Well, absolutely. You're not that far away from us, so we'd love to have you come down. New Orleans is always an inviting place, and of course, we are the #1 attraction here in New Orleans. But for those who can't come down here, you can still enjoy the products that we have. You can come to the national www.2museum.org, or even just go to neworleans.com to look what we have online. And we always have something going on. We have webinars, we have articles, we live stream all of our events. So there's always something that people can do to connect with us, and we of course would love to have everybody come down, but you can still meet us online.
Is there a place online, you just mentioned online about streaming, is there a place online where people can go and get more information about the museum, its hours, how to get tickets, that sort of thing?
Sure. As our website, actually, there's 2 websites you can go to: our national www.2museum.org or neworleans.com, and just follow the links on that. And you can plan your visit on our website, and you could also, of course, explore the artifacts we have, our oral histories. We have thousands of them online, so you can actually hear World War II veterans telling the story themselves.
I have to say, one of the things that we enjoyed as a family is watching the planning in that room for D-Day, and we're here. We know how the story ends, but it was still so intense. It was still so, you felt like you were in the planning stages of trying to figure out exactly how the troops are going to go in, the weather, different information that's going and dropping pamphlets. So incredible, so immersive. Really enjoy it. And retired Army Colonel Peter Crane, thank you so much for joining us on the digital desk. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Dietitians, boy, they play such an important role when it comes to helping people understand the connection between food and nutrition and how it can impact our lives. Let's bring in our friend, our clinical dietitian for Regional 1 Health. We got Quinay Johnson joining us once again on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Quinay, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Good morning, everyone. And nice to be back.
Yes. Always good to have you. So we know that there are a lot of processed foods, ultra processed foods, and the way that they are processed affects how healthy they are or how unhealthy they are, I guess you should say. Can you explain the difference between processed foods, what that means, ultra processed foods, and best practices to avoid them?
I like to think of processing as modification. So there's a scale when it comes to processed foods, and it can be subjective, but the things that are constant are minimally processed and ultra processed. Minimally processed or minimally altered food can be your apple, for an example. You pick it straight off the tree, that's as minimally processed as it can get, versus ultra processed foods. It can be like an applesauce that has corn syrup added to it to make it sweet and also has preservatives within it to make sure it lasts long on the shelf and doesn't make you sick, or apple juice with added sweeteners such as corn syrup.
That's good to know. That's a good distinction, Quine. Thank you. And you know, food choices, it's so hard for so many people out there. I mean, price is obviously a factor for so many people out there because grocery store prices, as you know, I mean, they've gone through the roof over the last several years. How do we make good food choices? If you had to just kind of give people maybe 3 bullet points on how to make good food choices, what would you tell them?
I would say knowing how to read a food label and understanding ingredients within the list on the back of food can help you make better options. To limit the amount of ultra processed ingredients you consume could be a great place to start. 2, making things more convenient for you. For an example, investing into buying frozen foods or still buying fresh foods and having tools at home to make sure that it's a quicker process for you to have food available so that you can make healthier options is number 2. And then 3, again, preparation is best, but having like fresh fruits and vegetables to snack on to make sure that you're getting a lot of vitamins and minerals as best as possible and not being enticed to buy fast food because you don't have any fresh fruit available at home is a third way to make healthier choices.
Where do people make the biggest mistakes, Quine, when it comes to shopping at grocery stores?
Ooh, that's a great question. I believe the biggest mistake that can happen is to just not be intentional when it comes to going grocery shopping. So if you set time out before going to make a list and checking the boxes as to making sure that you have fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, lean meats, grains and whole grains and things of that nature before you go into the grocery store, that can help alleviate some of the issues when it comes to making mistakes at the grocery store. And then also going to the grocery store hungry. Don't do it because you're always going to impulsively buy something versus getting the things that you need to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Oh yeah, I've made that mistake plenty of times, and then I come home and I'm like, what is all this stuff? So okay, let's talk about suggestions, easy ways, friendly reminders to make it easier to eat healthier each and every day.
One great way to make things easier for yourself is to, again, make a grocery list before you go to the grocery store. Buy things that you're more motivated to eat at home that are still healthy. For an example, I love pineapples. Pineapples, I believe, are in season right now, or apples. And having foods that are less processed or have less ingredients in them to complement those things. So I'm allergic to peanut butter, so I don't do that, but I do sunflower butter. That's something that I could pair with apples, and that's a great snack to have. Also, I'm trying to think of another way. Oh, buying frozen foods. That can be a cheap and also affordable way to get vegetables and fruits in that aren't as processed as per se your canned foods that have added salt in them, or for fruit, canned fruits with corn syrup added into them.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's talk about just, final question, just a main point you want people to remember when it comes to sticking to a healthy diet and how it affects our health.
The biggest thing that I want to be taken away from this is preparation saves a lot of heartache. If you go into something intentionally and have a game plan, you're more likely to succeed or win the game versus just going in willy-nilly, no practice, trying to be Michael Jordan.
Quinay Johnson has jokes on a Tuesday. Thank you, Quinay. I appreciate that. We always appreciate what you do as a clinical dietitian at Regional One Health. Thanks again for joining us on the digital desk.
Thank you so much, and I'm hoping that everyone has a great day. It was nice talking with you, Andrew.
Eric, can you hear me?
I got you.
Awesome. Can you tilt down the camera just a smidge? Thank you. All right, we're 45 seconds away.
Sweet.
Appreciate the help there, amigo. Hope your summer's going well.
It's rolling right along.
Excellent.
Rolling right
Excellent.
along. Lots of baseball.
Yes, sir. Talk to you in a second. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Well, if you're like me, it was a Sunday shocker for Grizz Nation. Out of the blue, it seemed like, out of nowhere, the Memphis Grizzlies trade Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic, and boy, do they get a wealth of first-round picks. They also get 2 veteran players. And right now, people are thinking, this might actually be a good trade for the Memphis Grizzlies organization. Let's bring in someone who is in the know when it comes to that and when it comes to all things Memphis Grizzlies. I'm joined now on the Action News 5 digital desk by the radio voice of the Memphis Grizzlies, Eric Hasseltine, joining us in the offseason. Eric, thank you very much for joining us. And
of course.
How was it when you found out about this trade, and what were some of your initial reactions? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise. You know, we knew there were potential moves in the offseason to be made, just weren't quite sure which direction they were going to go. And obviously that question was answered with a resounding, a big move on Sunday. We weren't sure if there was going to be multiple small moves, but they were going to rearrange the roster a little bit and try to add some depth at the wing, maybe some depth at the point guard position, some depth in the front court after the injury to Zach Edey. I think people just felt like, you know, there's 2 ways to go about it right now in the NBA. You either have 3 big time stars and then kind of sprinkle around them, or maybe 2 stars and, you know, kind of max money guys and then sprinkle around them. And Desmond Bane was making a great salary. He earned it. He worked his way to that number. When fully healthy, this is a guy scoring 23, 24 points a game. As I told people, when the ball leaves his hands, you think it's going in. But that contract can limit moves you can make. So I think what the Grizzlies did was got a lot of flexibility in this deal. It's sad to see Des go. I couldn't be more impressed with a guy that was picked 30th overall to come in the way he did, learn the way he did as a rookie. They make a move with Grayson Allen to open up minutes for him. He continues to work hard. A couple unfortunate injuries, an oblique strain earlier this year. Previous year, he steps on a basketball as it's rolling by, as he's trying to go for it and rolls his ankle. That's just a freak injury that shouldn't happen, but he missed time. And so now people are wondering, well, is it a durability thing? It's not with that young man, and he's got a very bright future. And Orlando seemed like they wanted to condense their roster. They wanted to go with the route of having 3 guys they can really count on and then building around those 3 when you talk about their roster. So the Grizzlies getting 4 first-round picks, a veteran in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, which will help the locker room because he's won a championship, and a veteran in Cole Anthony who can add depth at the point guard position. Those 4 first-round picks and the right to swap a pick, which means whoever has the higher pick, the Grizzlies will get that between themselves and the Magic, really gives you a lot of wiggle room if you want to make more deals. The addition of Cole Anthony means you have 2 guys in that backup point spot where Scottie Pippen and Cole Anthony are very similar types of players. They can really score the basketball. They're about 6'1", 6'2". Anthony has been known for his athleticism. He's the son of a former NBA player that actually played with the Grizzlies in Vancouver, and Greg Anthony, and he really was a nice complementary piece to that Magic roster. He's been through playoff series, so you get some veteran experience there. Scotty worked his way into getting more minutes, I think, during the postseason, and we'll see which direction they decide to go. Will they keep both, or will they maybe package another one with another player and make another move? That's certainly in play. So a bit surprising when it happened, because we're still a couple of weeks from the draft, and usually you see these moves the week of the draft, but the Grizzlies were very proactive. They got a deal they felt like they couldn't pass up on and made the trade, and I think they got a bounty in return for a very good player, and that's what you want when you make a move like this. Multiple picks and a veteran player that can help you.
Yeah, no question. I mean, that's a great way to describe it, a bounty. In return for Desmond Bane. And of course, we all love Desmond Bane. Such a workhorse, and probably going down as one of the best draft picks ever for the organization. I mean, taken 30th and just did so much for the organization. You mentioned the 4 first-round picks, the 2 veteran players, including one that has won a championship with Denver. I believe he won a championship with the Lakers in the bubble in 2020 as well.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, and then another aspect is dumping the nearly $200 million contract. I mean, that is huge. So where do you think? I mean, we got the draft coming up shortly, right? I mean, where are we going with this? Because we have the 16th pick now.
Yeah, you got back into the first round of this year's draft as well. So maybe they saw a college player they also liked, and this was just too good a deal to pass up. You mentioned the remaining years for Desmond Bane's contract, and that is a harder contract to move individually, even if somebody wants a great shooter, a perimeter scorer, and Des can score at all 3 levels. And just to clarify, the Grizzlies actually didn't draft Desmond Bane, but a pick made for them. Boston took Des, and I always love going to Boston and hearing guys, how do we let this guy go with our 30th pick? Well, that deal was in the works before the draft even happened. That pick was made with the trade already ready to be made. So the Celtics actually selected Desmond, but the Grizzlies were after him, and when they saw they could get him at 30, or that he was going to be available, they made that trade with the Celtics. So it's just easier to move guys with contracts that are under that $25 million range. I mean, that just sounds like a ridiculous thing to say because the money is so astronomical. But when you start getting into the 30, 35, $40 million range, and these guys have earned it, they're star type players. They're guys that have the potential to make an all-star game. There was a point where Desmond Bane, without an injury, probably makes an all-star game before these last couple of seasons, and could have been an all-star, has that type of potential and that type of talent. So it's not easy to move these guys because their contracts are so high. Now you break it up into 2 guys who have a reputation around the league for what they do. Cole Anthony, super athletic, has participated in a dunk contest at his size, which is remarkable, can score the basketball, comes from a lineage of pro players with his father playing in the league. And now you go to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and that's a great point, Andrew. I'd forgotten that he was in that Lakers bubble team championship roster. So he's got not 1, but 2-time world champion, went to Denver, made a big difference there with the Nuggets. A lot of people really credit his experience for helping that team take huge strides forward with Jokic and Murray, but having that veteran presence and saying, this is how we need to do things, alongside with letting the leaders lead, but saying, hey, when we're in these championship battles, this is how we need to pull ourselves through. That kind of experience in a locker room is invaluable. So if you want to keep these 2 guys, they really enhance your locker room. But they do have market value. They have a lot of market value. They're going to be sought after if this doesn't go the way you want it to go, or if you feel like they don't really fit the long-term plan, which is possible too. This, as I said, gives you a ton of flexibility to either try it out and see, or even beforehand, be more proactive and maybe get somebody else you have your eyes on if there's another trade to be made. We'll see. The front office gets paid to do their job. People always want to ask me, well, what do you know what they're saying in the front office? And my answer is always the same. Nothing, because they don't pay me to be in the front office. They pay me to see the game, call the game. However, I do kind of have some ideas of how this goes, having seen this play out many times in years past with other teams.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because everyone has the feeling that they're not done yet. Although I saw a report that said, "Hey, John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. off limits for the organization." I saw that earlier today. But Eric, and a lot of people think this is a pipe dream. But hear me out for a second.
Okay.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Okay, the guy has played in a small market in Milwaukee. He's from a small country in Europe and Greece. Why not take those 4 first-round draft picks, trade it to Milwaukee, we get Giannis, and then we're all set. We're ready to go. Let's play ball.
Well, you need to add some salary into that too. So that would be an interesting move if you condensed a couple of contracts, maybe a sign and trade, maybe package one of the guys you just acquired. That's certainly within the realm of possibilities. The question is, what does Giannis want to do? Where does he want to go? The thing that I'd be keeping an eye on is what happens in New York, because they have assets they could move, and they are actively looking at both guys. And apparently, according to all the rumor mills, that the names keep popping up. I don't want to start throwing names out there or putting scenarios together because I don't think that's fair to the organizations. And honestly, I don't know how the NBA feels about that. So let's just say a team like New York might get in the mix for a superstar player of that magnitude, maybe a former MVP or another former MVP that's name gets tossed around. You can do the math there, Andrew. And that will have a lot to determine what the availability is. Like I said, these deals tend to happen the week of the draft because of draft picks, because of opportunities to get young players. And if you're going to trade a star of that magnitude, you're not looking to remain in that playoff picture necessarily next year. You are looking to reset the roster, reset your organization, maybe take a year or two of lumps and build forward with a group that you can build continuity with and thus for build success. So I think keeping an eye on what happens in the Knicks coaching situation, keeping an eye on what happens with that other superstar who has also won an MVP, whose name gets tossed around in trade concerns. It's really a situation where a lot's going to determine that. And I don't think we'll hear a lot more. I don't think that the Grizzlies won't be proactive in seeking out what, the Bucks might want in a trade for a star of that magnitude. Right now, though, he's a Milwaukee Buck, and a lot of people seem to think that might be a different story by the time we tip off the season. And I don't ever have a problem with the team going for it, but you got to make sure the fit is right, the player is happy, because the one thing teams will tend to do is get in the mix for a trade, bring a guy in, he doesn't want to be there, and if he doesn't want to be there, it can really be a disaster. And I've seen it before. In fact, it happened to this organization years ago. They traded for a player named Otis Thorpe. He flat out said he did not want to be there. He did not want to go to Vancouver at the time. They made the trade anyway, and by 2 to 3 weeks later, they realized they had made a mistake, and they shipped him off to Sacramento. The problem was, in trading for Otis Thorpe at the time with Detroit, they gave them a future first-round pick, which ended up being the number 2 pick behind LeBron James. Now, the Pistons blew that pick and took Darko Milicic, where they could have taken Carmelo Anthony. But the Grizzlies would have had that first-round pick. And Detroit kept hearing about this kid, and every time the Grizzlies tried to get it back, they said, well, we're going to hang on to this one just to see. So you got to be careful about bringing in guys that don't want to be in that organization. And it's not necessarily anything personal. It may be personal to them. They want to be in a different city. They want to be closer to family. They don't jive with the guys on this roster. I don't ever hold that against a player. I think if a player can pick a place where he's comfortable, I'm okay with that.
Final question, Eric, then we'll let you go. What are you going to be watching over the next 2 weeks? You mentioned you're going to be watching the New York coaching situation. Anything else that we should be watching ourselves?
Well, I mean, obviously we're going to watch the finals and see what happens there. It's, game 5 tonight, I should say. I'm sorry. And what happens in that game can really start to shape things, believe it or not, because look, here we were talking about the Pacers up 2-1. If they win game 4, they're up 3-1 and, really put the Thunder's backs against the wall. The Thunder have built their roster in a certain way. They are 2 steps away from a title. The Pacers play a certain way with a certain type of player. They're 2 steps away from a title. This is a copycat league. Whoever wins this NBA championship, even with the other team not winning, teams are going to start to look to rebuild their roster with, you know, a lot of the similar characteristics of these two teams because you mimic success. So I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch the Knicks coaching situation, watch the other situations with big name players and where they may be rumored to be going. Some of those players have said, hey, these are my ideal destinations. Does a team that's already in the playoff picture from this year make a big move and try to enhance by sending multiple players for a big time star? Does that set the market and force other teams to follow suit? Or does everybody kind of stay pat and see where we get to with the draft? I think people jokingly saying that Dallas might trade the #1 pick are just doing that to take a shot at the Mavericks after the Luka Doncic trade. If they were to move that #1 pick, Andrew, it would be a whirlwind of deals and everybody would, you know, lose their minds. I don't see that happening. So aside from all that, I'm going to watch my son play baseball. I'm going to sit back and enjoy the ride and get ready for Summer League and look forward to seeing, if they do keep the 16th pick, a couple of new faces with the draft picks that they have, a couple of guys that were on the roster last year getting some work, seeing the development of Coach Iasalo out there coaching the team and getting his system into play and seeing what it really looks like with some time to prepare for it. And then just get ready for training camp to start in October, my friend. Lots to go before there, though. Lots of football coming, Memphis Tigers, all the SEC, the NFL. It's a great time of year, and it's been fun.
Yeah, no question about it. Eric Hasseltine joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk to weigh in and break down this Grizzlies Magic trade. We appreciate your time. Go have fun this summer with your son. Appreciate it, Eric.
Always appreciate it, Andrew. You have fun with your family as well. Look forward to seeing you next time, my friend.
Absolutely, Eric. Thank you. Eric Hasseltine on the Action News 5 digital desk. Let's take a quick break here. We're back at 60 seconds on Action News 5's digital desk.
Happy Monday out there to you. We're starting off on a dry note. We aren't going to be ending on a dry note. Temperatures today going to be starting in the 70s, ending in the middle 80s. Rain chances increasing, especially as we head into those afternoon and evening hours. So let me take you hour by hour as we head morning until about noon. I think mainly dry conditions are going to be prevailing across the Mid-South. Lots of clouds throughout your day ahead. Noon and on is when we start to see some of those storms come back up into the Mid-South, especially in places like North Mississippi into your early afternoon, making a northerly swing as they do into the evening as well for places like western Tennessee. I don't think everybody going to get in on a heavier pocket of rainfall today. They're going to be pretty scattered in nature, but again, if you do get under one of these, they could be heavy at times into your afternoon and early evening hours. Those should taper off overnight, and then we're going to be starting off with more showers and storms depending on where you are out there for your Tuesday morning. Places like northern Mississippi, especially northeast Mississippi, going to be seeing some heavier downpours out there for your Tuesday morning commute. Here's the good news. These showers are going to be tapering off throughout your day on Tuesday. So afternoon and evening hours, not as greater chances as they are today. Chances of rain into your work week ahead. Main 2 days that we're looking at are going to be today and then also out there for your Thursday. Not going to say you couldn't see a shower or two Tuesday and a Wednesday, but better chances remain today and Thursday. After Thursday, the good news is we're going to be seeing drier conditions prevailing in the Mid-South for your weekend ahead. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday looking good to go. Dry, but also pretty hot out there. Late week into your weekend, you can expect that summer heat to really ramp up. Saturday is our first official day of summer, and it is going to be feeling like that. Humidity increasing, feels like temperatures, you're looking at that right in the triple digits late week. Take a look at this. Your highs versus your like temperatures on the top. Going to be feeling like the 90s today through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday feeling like the triple digits. It is going to be that typical summertime heat that we see here across the Mid-South coming into play this weekend. Would not be surprised if we see our first heat alerts of the season issued for this weekend as well. Going to be a hot one out there if you do have any plans outdoors. As for your 10-day forecast, again, rain chances still sticking around through your work week ahead. We're seeing temperatures in the middle 80s today, upper 80s to near 90 throughout the rest of your work week. Middle 90s return Saturday into Sunday. And again, those feels like temperatures pretty warm in the triple digits for the weekend ahead. We'll see the 90s stick around all the way into our last official full week of June.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Let's talk about cholesterol for a minute. We hear about good levels of cholesterol, bad levels of cholesterol. We hear about good and bad cholesterol. Let's bring in someone to decipher what all this means and how we can lead the best healthy life possible. I'm joined right now by Dr. Anna Yang with Regional One Health. Dr. Yang, again, thank you so much for joining us on the Digital Desk. So we hear so much about good and bad cholesterol. Tell us about these two types and how we should deal with them both. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thanks again for having me. So yes, cholesterol can be a little bit difficult to understand. So cholesterol is something that everybody has in their body and everybody needs to have in their body. It's really important for a lot of your body's functions, making cells and some vitamins and different things. So everybody has to have cholesterol. So where cholesterol becomes a problem is when there's too much of it. So when you go to your doctor and you get your cholesterol levels tested, you usually get a whole slew of numbers called the lipid panel. And so on this lipid panel, you might find things like total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, HDL cholesterol, and triglycerides. So what you hear about when people say bad cholesterol is they're generally referring to that LDL. Or the low density lipoprotein. And this is a type of cholesterol. And these are the bad cholesterols because they're responsible for narrowing your blood vessels. They're the ones that if people say, oh, you've got too much cholesterol in your arteries and they're clogging your blood flow and, you're at risk for certain things like, heart disease or strokes. That's what they're talking about is that LDL. Now, on the flip side, the HDL you actually want more of. So the HDL is, quote unquote, that good cholesterol. And the good thing about the HDL is it actually helps you remove the unwanted cholesterols from your body. So it brings cholesterol back to the liver is one of the things that it does to remove some of the cholesterols that you don't want to build up. So that's what makes it, quote unquote, the good cholesterol.
So let me ask you, because I know that these numbers have changed over time. There have been numbers where the bad cholesterol or the overall cholesterol can't exceed 200, and now that number's been reduced. Tell me where we are on the proper levels. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right.
Sure. So the most important numbers are really the LDL and the HDL. That total cholesterol number doesn't matter as much as those two, and the ratio of how much LDL versus non-LDL cholesterol that you have. The main non-LDL cholesterol is HDL, but there are other non-LDL cholesterols out there too. So the LDL cholesterol, we would like that number lower. So ideally under 100. Now, certain people who already have some medical conditions may want that number even lower, potentially even, less than 80 or 70, depending on other factors. But in general, LDL under 100 is the goal. The HDL, on the other hand, you want higher. So greater than 40 or 60 or, higher numbers are a good thing for HDL.
Okay, so I'm just thinking about my panels when I get blood work done. Sometimes they were like, okay, you got to keep your cholesterol levels under 200. Are they factoring in HDL and LDL with that?
So generally with that 200 number, they're talking about the total cholesterol number, which matters as well. But truly the LDL is the more important one that you want lower.
Okay. And what about lipoprotein little a? Because that is something that more and more people are talking about. And I'm just wondering if that is a big concern when it comes to heart disease.
Yeah, so it's a different number now that people are using to measure, and it does seem to correlate with risk factors for things like heart disease. So even though that number isn't traditionally in your typical lipid panel, sometimes doctors, again, depending on your risk factors and what other medical conditions you have, are ordering this test too as another way to measure the cholesterol levels and your risk and whether or not you need to be on potentially medication to lower your cholesterol.
Okay, and what are some of the best ways to improve our cholesterol numbers?
So non-medication wise, diet is really where you really need to monitor for your cholesterol. So the majority of the cholesterol that your body needs is already being made by your liver. So you really don't need extra cholesterol. And you get cholesterol from animal products. So these are things like meat or dairy or eggs. So you want to decrease the amount of saturated fat that you're eating. These will contribute to your LDL going up. So saturated fats, especially things that you find in these animal products. But you want to increase instead the diet of good fats. So these are your unsaturated fats. These include things like avocado fats, fats that you get from nuts or seeds or fish. So changing the ratio of where you get fat from your diet will make a big difference. For those who are overweight, even losing just 5 to 10 pounds can make a pretty good difference on your cholesterol numbers. The other thing is increasing fiber, increasing your soluble fiber intake, decreasing your overall calories. These also make a good difference with your cholesterol as well, raising the HDL and lowering the LDL.
What's the most important thing you want people to remember when it comes to cholesterol, your numbers, how to bring it down, everything that we talked about?
So the first step is to check. So the first step is to make sure you go to your doctor and you get appropriate screening. Sometimes these aren't things that you feel. Sometimes people with normal weights have elevated cholesterol without knowing it. It's not always just something you get when you're overweight or obese. So make sure you go to your doctor. We even recommend children now get screened for cholesterol because we're seeing that even children are having problems with high cholesterol. So the first step is just to make sure you go to your doctor, get screened at appropriate intervals, do what you can, to improve your own habits in your daily life. And if necessary, potentially starting medication as prescribed by your doctor to lower your risk, for heart disease, strokes, and even losing your arms or legs because you don't have good blood flow to these parts of your body.
All right, Dr. Anna Yang, we appreciate your time as always on the Action News 5 digital desk. Very informative this morning. Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me.
Happy Monday out there to you. We're starting off on a dry note. We aren't going to be ending on a dry note. Temperatures today going to be starting in the 70s, ending in the middle 80s. Rain chances increasing, especially as we head into those afternoon and evening hours. So let me take you hour by hour as we head morning until about noon. I think mainly dry conditions are going to be prevailing across the Mid-South. Lots of clouds throughout your day ahead. Noon and on is when we start to see some of those storms come back up into the Mid-South, especially in places like North Mississippi into your early afternoon, making a northerly swing as they do into the evening as well for places like western Tennessee. I don't think everybody going to get in on a heavier pocket of rainfall today. They're going to be pretty scattered in nature, but again, if you do get under one of these, they could be heavy at times into your afternoon and early evening hours. Those should taper off overnight, and then we're going to be starting off with more showers and storms depending on where you are out there for your Tuesday morning. Places like northern Mississippi, especially northeast Mississippi, going to be seeing some heavier downpours out there for your Tuesday morning commute. Here's the good news. These showers are going to be tapering off throughout your day on Tuesday. So afternoon and evening hours, not as greater chances as they are today. Chances of rain into your work week ahead. Main 2 days that we're looking at are going to be today and then also out there for your Thursday. Not going to say you couldn't see a shower or two Tuesday and a Wednesday, but better chances remain today and Thursday. After Thursday, the good news is we're going to be seeing drier conditions prevailing in the Mid-South for your weekend ahead. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday looking good to go. Dry, but also pretty hot out there. Late week into your weekend, you can expect that summer heat to really ramp up. Saturday is our first official day of summer, and it is going to be feeling like that. Humidity increasing, feels like temperatures, you're looking at that right in the triple digits late week. Take a look at this, your highs versus your like temperatures on the top. Going to be feeling like the 90s today through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday feeling like the triple digits. It is going to be that typical summertime heat that we see here across the Mid-South coming into play this weekend. Would not be surprised if we see our first heat alerts of the season issued for this weekend as well. Going to be a hot one out there if you do have any plans outdoors. As for your 10-day forecast, again, rain chances still sticking around through your work week ahead. We're seeing temperatures in the middle 80s today, upper 80s to near 90 throughout the rest of your work week. Middle 90s return Saturday into Sunday. And again, those feels like temperatures pretty warm in the triple digits for the weekend ahead. We'll see the 90s stick around all the way into our last official full week of June.
Okay, back here in the Action News 5 digital desk. From time to time, we always like to check in with our friend Gabe Saglier. He is our favorite travel guy out there, and Gabe is going back in time a little bit. He's got a behind-the-scenes look at a new show. It's called Disco Show in Vegas. And Gabe, man, you look the part. Good morning.
Hey. Yeah, listen, it's a flashback. We're back in the 1970s. We are in the best disco club in New York City. Yeah, this is Disco Show, my friend, right here at the Link Hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. So this is the Glitter Loft. This is where we have a couple of drinks, you and I, to get the hips swinging. And then in we go onto the dance floor that's been all lit up. And of course, my friends have shown up. There's Anthony in the back. Here's Tina. And here's OK. OK's going to show us the here in just a second. But yeah, Disco Show. Just watch it. You are in it. Probably the most immersive, interactive experience in the Las Vegas Strip. They do 2 shows a night, Wednesday through Sundays. This is sort of a family-friendlier option on the Vegas Strip as well, 14 and up. This is just one of those really cool flashbacks that keep you moving all night long. You learn a couple of moves along the way. You make a couple of friends as well, and it just keeps you pumped and energized all night long. One of the great events from the folks at Spiegel World that also brought you Absinthe. Have you ever watched Absinthe? One of the best things I've ever seen. These are the same folks creatively bringing the 70s back to life here with Disco Show.
Oh my gosh, Gabe. I mean, so people can just show up and do what you're doing here? I mean, looks like you're learning some moves, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You can't help but swing your hips when you've got this, you know, those classic 70s tunes pumping, and you throw a little outfit like this on, you're part of the show. That's the beauty. You're not just watching it. It's not a passive experience. You're immersed in it, and it just feels good to let loose and be part of the show instead of just watching it from a distance.
So you mentioned this is very family friendly, 14 and up, and I understand there's some other fun family attractions there that can really stretch the dollar, huh?
Yeah. So this is the 70s, obviously, but the 80s are back in a big way as well. So nostalgia, a big part of the Las Vegas experience this summer. Check this out. The New Kids on the Block, first time ever with a Las Vegas residency. The Right Stuff, it's called. It shows starting June 20th for a limited time at the Dolby Live Theater at Park MGM. I caught up with Donnie Wahlberg. Here's what he had to say about the inspiration that Las Vegas brings to their show.
I don't know if it's the inspiration of Vegas, it's the aura of Vegas, but something has inspired us as a band to tap into things that we never have before. I just want to tell. I want to like spoil it every day, and I can't. But it's very cool.
So New Kids on the Block with The Right Stuff starting June 20th. And not to be outdone, the Backstreet Boys are also coming to Vegas. They've got an 18-show residency at the world-famous Sphere. It's called Into the Millennium, sort of a flashback to the Y2K area. And beyond that, of course, you've got Boyz II Men, Bruno Mars, Lenny Kravitz, Lady Gaga, Kelly Clarkson, and much, much more coming to Las Vegas. Many of the shows are, of course, are family-friendly, so check those options out. But no shortage of A-list talent on the Strip for summer 2025.
Oh my gosh, it sounds amazing. Quickly, before we let you go, Gabe, where can we get some of this information you just mentioned?
All right, check out visitlasvegas.com. They've got information on all these acts, plus even some free experiences that are family-friendly throughout the summer. And before we let you go, join us in a classic dance move here. What's the
classic one, shall we? Here we're going to do the boxing match. We'll go
Okay.
5, 6, 5, 6, stop that way. Go box, 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 pound head.
There it is. Back to you. See you out here at Disco Show.
All right, Gabe. That's some good stuff there. Appreciate it. Glad you're with professionals there, having a good time. Gabe Saglier in Vegas there and doing the Disco Show, a new Vegas. Back to the Action News 5 digital desk. Guns are the leading cause of death among youth, ages 1 to 17. An average of 7 young people a day are dealing with gunshot wounds, and many of them turn deadly. In fact, gun rate deaths for this group have doubled from 2013 to 2022. Every 11 minutes, someone in this country is killed by a gun. I want to have a deep dive on this discussion with someone who's joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. I'm joined right now by Catherine Hoops. She is someone who is a pediatric critical care physician, and she is someone with Johns Hopkins. And there is at Johns Hopkins a director of Gun Violence Solutions Center there. Catherine, good morning to you. I want to talk a little bit about the ways and the solutions to best prevent gun violence all across the country. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. And, like you said, gun injuries, gun violence is the leading cause of death in children in the U.S. right now. But many of these injuries are preventable. And so I think the most important thing that we want people to know is that a simple act to safely and securely store all firearms can help to save lives, especially kids' lives.
So let me talk a little bit about that right now. Is that the most important thing, safe storage of the firearm? I mean, how much, and I don't have the analytics, perhaps you do, but how much could that reduce gun violence when it comes to children?
Yeah, absolutely. So we know through decades of research that safe storage prevents firearm injuries and firearm deaths by not just unintentional shootings, but homicides, suicides, especially among youth. In fact, a study earlier this year showed a substantial reduction by 6 to 32% in youth firearm suicides from safe storage laws that compel safe storage behaviors in states that have them. So we know that this is a really effective intervention to interrupt a pathway from access or exposure to use and to injury. It basically puts a barrier in place so that when a curious toddler finds a firearm in a nightstand, if that gun is loaded, there is a trigger that they can pull and cause harm. But if that gun is in a safe, there are buttons that they can push, and that child won't be harmed by that firearm if it is safely and securely stored.
So I know that about half of all states have some sort of safe storage regulation. Where do we stand here in the Mid-South? We have Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas here. Is this something that you guys are pushing for in states that don't have the regulations?
Yeah, so over half of states do have child access prevention or safe storage laws that promote safe storage behaviors. But even in states that don't have safe storage laws, people can still practice safe storage. By normalizing conversations about secure storage, we can help to promote these behaviors in all states. States that do have them, we can encourage more people to adopt these behaviors. And in states that don't, people can still do it, to take it upon themselves to safely store their firearms.
That's a great point. It doesn't matter what the laws say as long as you practice safety, and one of the elements of safety is having that safe storage at home. Then your family should be better protected that way. Anything else that you feel is important about this issue? I know that you're part of this research there from the Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions, right?
Yeah. So I'm also a pediatric critical care physician. And so in addition to the research that our team does, I work with patients and families every day to educate them on secure firearm storage, on injury prevention. And so we know that lives can be saved when firearms are stored unloaded, locked, separate from ammunition in a way that's inaccessible to kids, right? So kids don't have the code to the safe. They don't have access to that key. And if someone becomes at risk, you might consider changing the code or keeping the key with you, or maybe even getting the guns out of the home for a period of time. But we know that safe storage, when properly implemented, will save lives.
Is that, Catherine, the biggest issue facing a lot of gun owners in terms of what you see from your perspective when it comes to gun violence with youth and teens, gun storage? What are some other mistakes that gun owners make when it comes to this issue?
I think that, really safe storage is a simple step that everyone can take. I think also it's helpful to have these conversations with families, with gun owning families, with non-gun owning families, to understand potential sources of risk. Again, families might think that they are protecting their family and keeping their firearm in a place that's inaccessible, like in the back of a nightstand drawer, on a high shelf in a closet. But by having these conversations about the importance of safe storage, maybe even as a non-gun owning parent, having a conversation with another family member before, or a friend before your kid goes over for a play date, we can help to understand the risk that exists in our communities and is posed by unsecured firearms. We think this is one of the most important ways that we can intervene to prevent all firearm injuries, both adult and pediatric, but especially in kids.
Is there a place online, Catherine, where people can go and just learn more about what we talked about, perhaps through the Johns Hopkins Center?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a wonderful toolkit that has some of those conversation starters, research, and other information on our website that you can find at t.jh.edu/safe storage, or you can just search for Safe Storage Saves Lives.
All right, Dr. Catherine Hoops, pediatric critical care physician, Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions. Appreciate your time on the digital desk. Very valuable information there. Simple, easy ways just to cut down on some of the gun violence there affecting so many of our youth. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Happy Monday out there to you. We're starting off on a dry note. We aren't going to be ending on a dry note. Temperatures today going to be starting in the 70s, ending in the middle 80s. Rain chances increasing, especially as we head into those afternoon and evening hours. So let me take you hour by hour as we head morning until about noon. I think mainly dry conditions are going to be prevailing across the Mid-South. Lots of clouds throughout your day ahead. Noon and on is when we start to see some of those storms come back up into the Mid-South, especially in places like North Mississippi into your early afternoon, making a northerly swing as they do into the evening as well for places like western Tennessee. I don't think everybody going to get in on a heavier pocket of rainfall today. They're going to be pretty scattered in nature, but again, if you do get under one of these, they could be heavy at times into your afternoon and early evening hours. Those should taper off overnight, and then we're going to be starting off with more showers and storms depending on where you are out there for your Tuesday morning. Places like northern Mississippi, especially northeast Mississippi, going to be seeing some heavier downpours out there for your Tuesday morning commute. Here's the good news. These showers are going to be tapering off throughout your day on Tuesday. So afternoon and evening hours, not as greater chances as they are today. Chances of rain into your work week ahead. Main 2 days that we're looking at are going to be today and then also out there for your Thursday. Not going to say you couldn't see a shower or two Tuesday and a Wednesday, but better chances remain today and Thursday. After Thursday, the good news is we're going to be seeing drier conditions prevailing in the Mid-South for your weekend ahead. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday looking good to go. Dry, but also pretty hot out there. Late week into your weekend, you can expect that summer heat to really ramp up. Saturday is our first official day of summer, and it is going to be feeling like that. Humidity increasing, feels like temperatures, you're looking at that right in the triple digits late week. Take a look at this. Your highs versus your like temperatures on the top. Going to be feeling like the 90s today through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday feeling like the triple digits. It is going to be that typical summertime heat that we see here across the Mid-South coming into play this weekend. Would not be surprised if we see our first heat alerts of the season issued for this weekend as well. Going to be a hot one out there if you do have any plans outdoors. As for your 10-day forecast, again, rain chances still sticking around through your work week ahead. We're seeing temperatures in the middle 80s today, upper 80s to near 90 throughout the rest of your work week. Middle 90s return Saturday into Sunday. And again, those feels like temperatures pretty warm in the triple digits for the weekend ahead. We'll see the 90s stick around all the way into our last official full week of June.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. As spring is blooming, so does allergy season. Tell me about it. It may trigger all kinds of flare-ups for millions of people, especially those living with eczema. It leads to an increase of itchiness and inflammation and a lot of discomfort out there. Joining me right now on the digital desk to talk more about this issue is Dr. John Browning. He's Chief of Dermatology at Children's Hospital of San Antonio, and Leon Toinette, who cares for a 7-year-old daughter dealing with eczema. Good morning to you both. Dr. Browning, I want to begin with you. I understand you have children that have eczema. Talk to our audience about what exactly is it and some of the biggest challenges for some of those people out there. Good morning. I do not hear you, doctor. For some reason, I don't hear anything.
Okay.
Now I hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
Okay, great. Yeah, so as a pediatric dermatologist as well as parent of 2 teens with eczema, they've had eczema since they were kids, I can definitely relate to the frustration of the constant itching, the red cracked skin, and the heartache of eczema. Believe it or not, there's 26 million Americans that suffer from atopic dermatitis or eczema, including 9.6 million kids. And there is a lot of frustration in not being able to find the right treatment. I know with my own kids, we had lots of sleepless nights and vacations that could be impacted because the eczema would flare. Joining with me now is Leon Toinette, and I've gotten to know her as well as her daughter Casey, who I've taken care of for many years, and she can relate to the frustration and the constant itching, dryness, cracked skin as well.
Yes.
Yeah, Leon Toinette, go ahead. Tell me about your 7-year-old daughter and how eczema has affected her.
Oh, absolutely. My daughter Casey is very vibrant. She's such a bright light. She enjoys swimming and musical theater and all the things associated with childhood. However, from birth to around age 5, her skin was dominated with redness, dryness, and constant itching. In its heightened state, her skin was so delicate that the lightest touch could cause her skin to break and bleed. Now, as parents, as you can imagine, her father and I had to be cautious about who could hold her and really manage with her. So it was difficult to explain as well as difficult to understand for friends and family. We would later find that Casey also has multiple allergies, anywhere from food to lotions to pollen, even some eczema treatments that were available for her age, as well as some of the known home remedies could trigger a reaction for her. Now, much like Dr. Browning's children, Casey struggled. And when you have that itching going on, it compromises the integrity of the skin's protective barrier. So we had to constantly monitor her. Now, I tried different things. I tried cool cloth. I tried special baths, but nothing seemed to help her. It was an endless, daunting struggle.
Okay, so Leon Toinette, let me ask you again, how has your daughter been able to find relief, and how do you help her kind of navigate this, not just for now, but for later in life too?
Oh, yes. Happy to answer this one. Now, after trying multiple treatments, we were introduced to the Vitamin trials by Dr. Browning and his team, which we are definitely grateful for. Since then, Casey's eczema has been a lot easier to manage. And I believe my favorite part is the quiet peacefulness of not focusing on it 24/7. But also, I didn't do this alone. I had help, and I advise everyone to get help. Talk to your doctor or dermatologist and find a treatment that works for you and your family.
Okay, and Dr. Browning, tell me more about how patients or people living with eczema can find relief, and what do you have for parents that are trying to manage eczema for their children?
Well, don't get frustrated. Eczema can be quite frustrating, but there's hope. This time of year during allergy season, we do see lots of flares, and I spent 4 years of my life in Middle Tennessee going to college, so I know about allergy season in Tennessee. But in December 2024, the FDA approved Vtama Tapinarof Cream 1%. It's an Organon product. That's who we're here with today. And Vtama is the first and only steroid-free cream that's approved for adults and kids ages 2 years of age and older with eczema. It can be used anywhere on the body, including the face, the sensitive areas, and there's no time restriction with it. There's also no black box warning. Of course, it is a prescription product, so I would encourage you to talk to your doctor more about it. In the trials, it was well tolerated. There were some common adverse reactions that occurred in 1% or more patients, such as lower and upper respiratory tract infections, folliculitis, headache, asthma, vomiting, ear infection, pain in the extremity, and abdominal pain. But again, overall, it was well tolerated, and we saw 46% of our patients achieve clear or almost clear skin in 8 weeks, compared to 18% of the patients that were receiving just the cream alone without any active ingredients.
Okay, Dr. John Browning and Lee Antoinette, we appreciate your time on the digital desk explaining for us the problem, the solutions, and how to deal with it all. Thank you. That does it for us here in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Have yourself a wonderful afternoon. We got Action News 5 midday at the top of the hour. Then join us again bright and early tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock for another edition of the Digital Desk.